Hello everyone, welcome to Roll for Rise and Fall, which is a bit different than what we normally would be doing on Sunday because our wonderful Enter Elysium is not feeling well. So we would like to send him all the roll love, so maybe if we could spam some roll love in chat for him, maybe that will send him some healing power. So thank you so much for tuning in, even though we don't have our EE here for Shadow of Duskfall. But we are planning something else instead, which is Rise and Fall from the Seven Wonders games. So I think that, you know, you should hopefully will entertain you either way, which means that we're giving everything to Josh for the power of controlling this episode, which scares me a little bit. Especially with what's been going on with Saito. I don't know if I could trust you. Just kidding.
Wait, you're more or less scared than you would be if this was EE running blades.
That's true. That's true. Fair enough. It's a similar scale. That's true. They're both schemers. So thank you for that. Also big thank you to those of you who were able to join us for Roll For It Con, whether you watched us live or you were able to come join us for the meet and greet. We really appreciate it. It was awesome to meet all of you. I know that the cast had a lot of fun and it was nerve-wracking, I think, on both sides, but I think that it was really cool to have everybody kind of like chat and make new friends, and it seems like a lot of other people have made friends and they're doing little group watching episodes, and I love it. It's so awesome. Friendship.
We got cool stuff as well.
Yes, and I think there are some winners. I think a couple people have not responded, so it's past your time. I told the EE I would give them a week to respond, so if you didn't respond to my message, you're not going to get them. Everyone else will receive an email shortly that will be requesting information, so I can send you those. And that was for people. I think one of the people that won also was part of the show, was part of our meet and greet, but I'm not sure. You can give it to a friend, I guess.
Double loot.
Yeah, so we will be giving those out. We have a holiday surprise coming out soon. I think that's all closed. The only thing that is still open, I believe, is the feedback and the hero tier names, correct? Those are the two things that are
the
open.
hero tier names is coming later this week for December.
Okay.
And I can't actually remember if we have the feedback open. It
either just closed
last week or it closes next week.
Yeah, because I think I think it's open because I think we swap over. We'll look. You can see it on the Patreon. So I think that kind of covers the major news. I will toss it over to Bentham to talk about the other things and the way you can support
the
us.
supporter? Did I miss that?
I did not see.
Well, yes. Today's supporter is Joe Food. Thank you very much, Joe Food, for supporting today's episode. I know you were intending to support an episode of Shroud of Duskfall, but I hope that this does justice as well.
And maybe we can give you an extra one in another month or something. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, there'll be some going spare probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and our merch. We now have merch, so you can go to designbyhumans.com/roll4it, and there's merch there. We are designing some other things. There are mugs coming along. They're finalizing the designs on those, and then also we will have Shadow of Duskfall and Silence of Shadows.
Yes.
Art. It's too many shadows. We
might also get Silence of Silence merch. Maybe I can sneak some
down
of that
the
in
line, probably not for this next set. So that is going to be a design that they're working on, and that will be on shirts and possibly other things as well. So stay tuned for that. Yay! Now you know Mathis is going to make Silence of Silence a thing. It's going to be a show on its own.
Exactly. Like. All of the shows have to have silence in them.
That's when everyone
That's
dies.
the natural conclusion. That's the third act.
So again, thank you, Jofu. Definitely go check out the merch. Supporting the merch that we have up there lets the Design by Human Peoples know that, oh, people want their stuff, so they'll make more designs for us. They're being very kind and making the designs for us at no cost right now. So it would be super handy and helpful if you all would be kind and purchase some things over there. I know that everyone wants them. And then we also have some other stuff that we'd like to do as well, like bunny slippers and things like that, which are a little odd and not part of their normal repertoire. So if you want those things, we have to prove that like people want our merch. So I think that covers that. We are going to be having our holiday break coming up really soon. If you don't know about how Roll For It works, we always take a holiday break. We give our cast like about 2 weeks off. Ours is going to be starting on the 21st and ending on January 1st. So that means our last show will be on December 15th, and our next show coming back will be January 4th. So hopefully we'll also post this on our social media and all of that stuff. It'll be pinned up there. So hopefully you won't miss any of that information, but just trying to reiterate it throughout the month so you don't forget. And we hope everybody has a wonderful time with their families or even just their friends, because, sometimes we have to pick our own families. And I think next Saturday, something different's happening. And I'm really excited about it. So definitely tune in next Saturday. Because I'm excited for that.
We don't have our normal signs of shadows, because I nearly got it wrong there. Because Mathis is away, so we have other plans for what's going to be going on.
We have other
in that
plans.
particular slot.
And it might be holiday related, maybe.
Does this involve that one time you did that maid RPG, but you were all Santa's elves?
Maybe. Never know.
Yeah.
Never know. And we will have next month's recap and NPC name submissions coming soon. I think the recap actually will get postponed even longer because he's not feeling well today. But we'll definitely get it out to you guys. We might have 2 coming at you at the same time or something. It'll be a little weird, but we appreciate your patience with us. So Bentham, tell us how people can support us and we'll move on. This is a long intro.
The reason that we're here and we're able to do all the things and pay our cast and also organize awesome stuff like Roll for It Con and also give you boxes full of random badges that we made.
It turned out so good. I was a little not sure about the getting people to get a key and talking to each other, but it actually worked out really well. Yeah, and people said that it wasn't something they would normally do, but they liked it because it did get them to talk to people that they wouldn't normally have.
I was lucky 13. Good. But yes, so the way that we're able to do all of that awesome stuff is via Patreon. That is the main way in which you can support us, and it's how we're able to keep the lights on, do all the things, and look after our cats and dogs and bunnies and whatever else we have. Oh, and plants as well. We have plants represented in this cast.
Do we still have plants? Are they still alive?
I got new plants over the weekend.
Okay.
They haven't died yet, but it's only been 24 hours.
I'm like, wait, are they alive?
Give it another day.
So anyway, yeah, plants.
Yeah, so
Water's
you can support
expensive.
us on.
Water is expensive.
Oh no. But yes, you can support us on Patreon. There's a whole bunch of different tiers that you can support us at, with a whole bunch of different rewards depending on what you want to get from us. You can get MP3s of all of our shows. After every show, we record an after show where we talk about what happened in the show and occasionally entirely unrelated things. We also put character sheets up so that you can read about all the specific details of our characters that might have been missed, during episodes and things, and find out secret behind the scenes stuff from that. And also use the characters yourselves in games if you want to just play your favorite character that you've seen on a show. Similarly, you can get enemy stats and that kind of thing from RPGs. You can also chuck enemies that we faced into games that you're playing too, that kind of thing. You can vote on the kind of things that we will face during our shows. Every now and then we will put a vote up for what is this enemy faction gonna do? Who's gonna attack the players next? What monster are they gonna run into? And that kind of thing where you can be very mean to us. Also, you can submit names that will be used for NPCs that will appear in our shows. We try and use all of them as long as they make at least the vaguest amount of sense. And also, we'll do recaps. The admins record recaps every month that we talk about all the things that happened in the past month, just wrap up all the events and talk about how things are going for us and all the secret plans that are coming up. And also, if you're crazy, you can support at the Legend tier, which allows you to take part in a one-shot GM'd by a member of the cast once every month. That is a secret behind-the-scenes, non-streamed RPG that you can get to be a part of. This month, actually, well, the one for last month is the thing. We were away at Roll for It Cons, we were slightly busy, and it turned out that literally all of our GMs were at that. So we weren't able to do it on time, but Eric Vulgaris has showed up as a special guest GM and is going to be GMing some Band of Blades very soon. And there's another game coming.
And if you could all turn up your volume a little bit. Apparently, I'm louder than all of you. But on my levels, it shows that you're in the same gauge as me. You are a little bit quieter, Bentham, now than you were when we did our test.
I might be leaning a bit further back from the mic now.
I'll just get.
Is this better? How's this? Is this good?
Hi everybody, welcome.
I was like, I can't control their volumes.
ASMR TTRPG.
I'm really excited to play Rise and Fall.
This is your new dystopia that you live in.
It reminds me of that. Have you ever watched that movie where like everyone has to be quiet?
No.
Oh,
Oh, do you mean The
the-
Quiet Place?
Yeah, The Quiet
one-
Place.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really good.
I have not seen it, but I did see
I recommend watching it. It's actually pretty decent. But I think like that if you just had to do an episode where everyone had to be quiet, like that would be a good setting for it.
It would not be the most entertaining for the podcast listeners, I can imagine.
No, some people love ASMR.
Oh, you mean ASMR, not just like
Yeah,
silence?
not just silence. Like
Right.
if you just had to be quiet, you know, like whisper.
Things whispered.
Well, like in a library.
Or if you just did sign language, you know, that could be entertaining for people who know sign
It would be
language.
difficult on a podcast.
There's not a lot of shows that have that in it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We have though. Check out our Aliens RPG show.
Okay, I up my volume a bit. Is that good? Does that sound okay?
I hope so. They'll let us know eventually. Yeah, let us know if there's anything wrong with the audio or music, or if the music's too loud or whatever.
Yeah. Even if it's just a little bit of a change, point it out in case it becomes worse later or whatever.
Also,
Yeah, but anyway,
in memory of Shadow of Duskfall, I have moved the logo to by the cup, so you can now fill up the cup and cover it up. Enjoy.
Oh dear. So yes, so Patreon, that's one of the ways you can support us. Also, all Patreon supporters get to be on our Discord server where you can hang out with other fans of the show and talk about the cool stuff that's going on. Also, we show up there often and talk crap about the games and each other and what mad stuff is going on at the time. Other ways you can support us as well as Patreon is you can support us on Twitch. You can become a Twitch subscriber, which gives you emotes and badges and all that kind of cool stuff. And also that gives you access to the Discord as well. You can also drop us tips. They'll show up on the screen at the end of the show. We can read them out. I don't know if we can this time, but usually we can read them out. At the
I'll
end
read
of
the
the
tips
show.
out. I've got. ow.
Awesome.
I got it set up. Hit my arm.
Thank you for being awesome. And also, as mentioned, you can drop bits into the cup and cover up the name of the one shot, so no one knows what we're playing anymore. Sorted.
Yay.
And then also you can support us on YouTube. You can become a YouTube member, which is like being a Twitch subscriber if you don't like Twitch. That also gives you emotes and badges and cool stuff like that.
Cute.
And that also gives you access to the Discord. So whatever way, there's always a way to get on our awesome Discord full of awesome people. And that sort of things. Of course, just being here and watching the show is awesome as well. We appreciate everyone who shows up and comments and who lurks. It doesn't matter either way. Well, I mean, both are good. Both are good is the message. And also tell your friends. Tell your friends we do this ridiculous thing. And they'll be like, "What the? People talk to each other on the internet, and that's why do you watch this? It's fun." Trying to explain it to adults, they don't get it. Like, it's just TV but different. They don't get it.
So you don't have a script?
Yeah, it's like there's always something to like, but I don't what?
So you just read what they're saying? What?
It's called improv.
Who
All right.
decides what character you are, though?
Today it's going to be interesting. Josh, tell us tell us about how this game works. Whoa.
That's a real good question. I've been reading through the rule book for the last hour, and I'm pretty sure I got a grip of it. But this is Rise and Fall, a game about building a world, a dystopia, specifically how it came about, how it established its order, and then finally how it fell. We're going to go through these 3 phases, and each of us will invent times, places, characters, and answer questions that we really want to explore about this universe that we're about to make up. Everything you will see, we make up on the spot. We decide the genre, we decide the themes and the characters as we go along. It's part of a really awesome book called 7 Wonders. This is one of 7 games in that book, which are all diceless role-playing games that you can play with up to 5 people, and there is a facilitator who basically reads the book and organizes things.
And we
but is
played
also
some
a
of the other
player.
ones, right, on our show?
Yeah, we played. There was a one-shot a couple of times that we've done.
Yeah, we
using this book.
bookended just around the corner with one of them. I can't remember what it was called.
Yes, it was one of them. I think it was called Heroes of the Hearth is the one that we played there.
Yeah.
We also played one about going into a black hole called Nemesis 382, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So if you want to check out some of the
Pretty
other
stuff
games that are different than this one, definitely check that out.
Yeah.
We're
and
slowly
yeah,
working through their entire selection.
I highly recommend this book. It's great fun, really easy to do, and yeah, a fun time with your friends. Doesn't take a lot of setup, which is why we're playing it today. And so, I think we should begin the game, as all good TTRPGs begin, with building things that the players do and do not want to see while we're playing. That includes lines and veils. And so if we're going to go around person by person, including things that either are lines that we do not cross, topics that we do not go into, or veils, things that we can mention, skirt around, things that can exist but will not be explicitly described or explored. So, if anyone has anywhere they'd like to start, otherwise I can.
So I think for me, because this is a dystopia, one of the things I'd rather not see in this game would be slavery. I'd like us to try and avoid that as part of the dystopia. Partially because I think it's really difficult to do with sensitivity.
It is.
Oh, and by the way, for those who can't see, or no one can see, I think the Google Doc we're just typing this all into, so we're keeping track.
We're making notes. If you're playing this in person, I recommend using note cards. Note cards are great. I also like Post-it notes.
I just like stationery. It's an addiction and it's a problem that I have, and I'm well aware of that. I have
What
a
are you
problem.
talking about? What are you talking about? I don't have too many Post-it notes next to my desk.
I don't have enough.
I have one
I
notebook
don't
and one
either. There's not enough.
I
here.
definitely don't have enough notebooks. No, definitely not. Funny thing is, every single one of those notebooks is being used for a different campaign.
I need more notebooks.
I'm sorry. Where's my swag? I know I couldn't make it.
Also, what I do too is I start on one side for one campaign, and then I start on the other side for the other campaign.
Same.
I use both. Yeah, because like you don't always use the whole book unless it's a long campaign. But yeah,
Book efficiency.
book efficiency,
Right.
paper efficiency.
That's why you need the little sticky tabs and highlighters. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I want to see
you mean like these
stationery in this
things?
game.
We definitely want to see stationary turn
You know what?
up.
What if our entire dystopia is built around?
I mean, dystopias do tend to stagnate. It would be quite stationary.
There will
Get
be a lot
out!
of bureaucracy. Going to ignore that. There will be a lot of bureaucracy, so paper will be required. Yeah. Does anyone else have something they?
I don't really have any lines or veils. I'm an open book. I like exploring different emotions and things.
Okay. Bentham.
I think I'm pretty good. I mean, like, we've played RPGs for years at this point, so I know that we're all on generally the same wavelength. I'll just go off the examples put in the actual book of, like, I think it mentioned somewhere, decide if you want torture, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like. I think I'm okay with acknowledging
it's not
torture
really a
could
veil
happen,
for me.
but not describing it in any detail whatsoever, because why would you want?
Okay.
Like so that'd be
will go in
a
as a
scale,
veil.
a skirting
Yeah,
the line.
Normally.
Fair enough. And yeah, that's pretty common. I'm going to say a line for me because this is a dystopia. I'm going to say Brexit.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Reasonable,
That's totally
yeah.
fair.
Josh is getting PTSD.
No, you're going through a lot. It's gonna be
I
a
could-
year. It's fine.
Recognize
I
that.
sent my ballot in. Vote.
Do it. But yeah, unless there's anything else, we can move on to the world building sections.
I'm good.
Wonderful.
Genre.
The genre and setting of this game is quite important. But I have a question for everyone. Do we want to decide on a genre and setting now, or do we want to move on to the next section, answer a few key facts about this world, and then decide on the genre and setting?
I'm
Okay.
inclined to start with like establishing facts and then see what we like, and then use that to decide where we're going.
Yeah, that works for
genre-wise.
me.
Okay. Excellent. Now
I'm up
this
for whatever.
Sweet. we all pick one key idea, whether that is a military takeover, food shortages, ubiquitous surveillance, alien invasion, natural disaster, terrorist activity, genetic engineering, excessive bureaucracy, information control. We just pick a thing that we want to see happen in this dystopian world and just, build up from there. One each. Under the key ideas section. And I'm not going to go first.
And that's just their examples, right? We can kind of.
Those are the examples, but you can make anything up. I'm inclined to say dragons. I don't know.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Dragons in there. Done. Shadowrun. It's at no.
I was gonna say like the dragons would clearly be in charge, and now we're in Shadowrun.
But
That was quick.
Dragons aren't in charge. What if they're tiny dragons?
Dragons we need
Baby
to protect?
dragons.
Yeah.
Dragon eggs.
I'm going to put, for my key ideas, vulnerable dragons. Vulnerable tiny dragons.
They're like the size of like a lizard.
Yeah, they're a bit smaller than a cat,
Yeah.
but just as lovable.
They're not at all.
They used for the lighting of this civilization.
Oh god, I don't
Like,
know.
are we like a non-industrial like? Is there a fantasy thing going on with this?
Could,
I mean, there is,
see
there's
magic.
dragons.
Like we could just establish beyond dragons.
We could just go soft magic system like, it's a thing. Magic happens.
There's dragons.
Boggle boggle.
We deal with it.
I like the idea of excessive bureaucracy. Just in general, we talked about post-it notes and notebooks. Like I
no.
like excessive bureaucracy because I'm also imagining like maybe there's like heroes are a thing, but not like a good thing. They're just like, all right, fill out your
Gosh, does
37
not know how to spell
form.
bureaucracy. Hey.
There was a lot of collateral damage on this particular hero mission.
Mm-hmm. You have to get your insurance. So yeah, excessive bureaucracy. That's what I'm establishing.
That's like going crazy.
Vulnerable tiny dragons and excessive bureaucracy. This is great.
Mm.
I've got one. I've got one. A constant, unfathomable threat.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Is
What
that...
better way to maintain a dystopia than be like, we've got to protect you from that thing?
Mm-hmm. But it's unfathomable, so we don't have to define it.
Mm.
I love
that
it.
thing's
Yes.
about as far as we get. Okay, cool.
And I guess the last one.
Better make it a good one.
Pressure's on.
That's hard.
Literally no pressure.
The bureaucracy is just here to protect you from this unfathomable threat.
I said the first thing that came into my head and it was dragons. So it's, yeah, expectations.
I picked one off the list.
I just was like, alien invasion, natural disaster. What if I merge them?
So we're going down that. I mean, we have tiny dragons. What if the military force is an army of fairies?
Army of fairies.
Like that is the protection for the city.
Okay. Army
Maybe
of fairies.
that's needed for the threat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Protects
That's
the
right.
city.
They're needed for the threat, but really, they're probably the ones creating the threat to keep us all. This is getting too
It's
real.
a conspiracy, man.
Tinfoil
Yeah.
hat time.
Oh yeah. Where's my tinfoil hat?
Okay, I've written Army of Fairies protects the cities.
Y'all didn't think I actually had one, but I do.
I'm so glad you have that. Great.
I didn't show anyone until it actually popped up on the screen the first time I ever saw it.
As someone points out, fairies do like contract law.
They do.
Oh, yeah, true. Had enough trouble with that recently. And
We also don't
Where
know how to
we
spell
go-
fairies, man.
oh yeah, we skipped a section. So from
Okay.
here, I think we can just pretty safely say we all have an idea of what the setting might be. There will be an element of fantasy. Are we doing like medieval fantasy like D&D, or are we doing modern fantasy.
I like the
future
idea of
sci-fi
modern.
Fantasy.
I like the idea of modern fantasy with elements of like medieval.
Could
Okay.
could blend a little more steampunk.
Yeah, maybe.
Like turn of the century, right? So it's more like 1920s esque. So it's not quite modern day, but it's still
like
pretty
All
modern.
the fairies are flappers.
Get out.
What? Okay.
So like
You
a
like just
like
turn
a-
of the century too, or like you could do because then we can play off the like the World War I or World War II feeling, except now it's just this other like undefinable threat.
Okay. Gonna say 1930s ish. Modern fantasy. Can't spell. There we go.
Josh can't spell.
They don't need to see that.
Fairies
Perfect.
are
Okay.
military with
Stuck in-
gangster
and
gangster
it's-
goblins. Oh my gosh, gangster goblins.
No,
Yes.
not fables. I was trying to think of something else where
Gangster goblin.
it's kind of.
So, just to recap, we have vulnerable tiny dragons, excessive bureaucracy, constant unfathomable threat, and an army of fairies protecting the cities in a 1930s-ish modern fantasy setting.
Love it. Yeah.
I like this game.
Now,
All of these things fit together. I don't see why they wouldn't.
We're like 12 minutes in and we're already here.
yep. No turning back now. Where we're going, we don't need wheels.
Fairies can
Because
ride
now-
the
We have
dragon.
fairies.
We have fairies. And we have an opportunity to. This is the interesting part of this. We don't invent characters specifically, we invent archetypes for ourselves to play. And in doing that, each time we build a scene, we can decide an avatar. So we can pick, for instance, a warrior or an academic as our archetype for the characters that we play. And then when we go into a scene, we can say, the warrior I'm playing this time is a hero, or the academic I'm playing this time is a philosophy student, which means that we can skip through time. We don't have to be particularly consistent with chronology or anything like that as we explore the rise and fall of this dystopia. So we have to choose an archetype that can be interpreted at several different levels within society, from people at the bottom to all the way to those in command. So you can create different avatars for your archetype as needed for each scene. Write the description of your character archetype at the top of the index card. We don't have those. And then under the archetype, we write individual names. Okay, so in the bit in the doc, I guess let's go around and pick which archetype people are interested in playing.
So part of me wants to lean into the bureaucracy thing and play bureaucrat, but then you also give me the option of being a fairy. So I also want to be a fairy, which I feel like would lean into warrior. So I'm not, I don't know. What are other people thinking?
I was considering being like I was considering being the bureaucrat type, so I might go for that if no one else
no,
wants
do it then. Do it.
Mhm.
Can I be a tiny dragon?
That's not an archetype, though. That's
like
Fire
you can have
breather.
an archetype that
Species.
may include a tiny dragon.
You can
Mhm.
absolutely be a tiny
Oh,
dragon.
I'm a dragon trainer.
That's still not an
Okay.
archetype.
It's
I know. I need to open
closer.
the book. I have not actually opened the book.
Page 71 gives you a good examples of archetypes
Okay.
that are pretty broad.
Yes.
I haven't gone to
there's-
look at the book at all because I was setting up everything.
It's true. It could be very bureaucrat. So, all right. In which case, then I'm leaning probably more towards a warrior.
That would set you up nicely for the fairy.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm
Oh, no.
a mighty warrior.
Well,
Sign this paperwork.
I blame you, Maggie.
What did I do? Oh, for the fairies.
Yep.
Where can someone in chat is asking where can they find this book if they would like
You
to
can,
acquire
as
stuff?
far as I understand, find it on Drive-Thru RPG. It might also be on Humble.
I wonder if it's on itch.io.
The book itself is called Seven Wonders. I don't know if
Yes,
it's
the
the
book
number
itself-
7 or the word.
Well, those are just
Seven
examples
is
of
the
archetypes.
word, seven wonders, and good.
Yeah, if you
luck.
search
I hope
Seven
you find
Wonders
it.
RPG, you'll find it.
You know
I feel
what?
like a dragon
There are a
trainer
million
would
places.
be like an academic of some sort.
Ooh, academic or warrior, I feel like could both work, but academic totally makes sense. I was also thinking a true believer. The end is
Oh, like
coming, and we just need to accept it.
I feel like
Oh,
that's
dear.
too close to my crazy character.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
Ooh, you know what? Wait, what are you picking, Lauren?
I'm gonna lean either true believer or warrior. So if you want to take, if either of those is someone else wants, then I'll drop it.
Okay, so do we have to make something that like makes sense together? Like we're
I don't think so.
Nope.
Hmm.
No,
Just
we don't.
a
we
role
don't
that
form a
would
party.
have, yeah, just something where you can think of things at different levels of society that would fit that position.
Yeah, I think
Like I might make my own and call it schemer, which is a bit like fixer but kind of different.
Yeah, I was actually
Okay.
thinking about doing like,
like
a
spies
rebel
and-
spy, but now Bentham's changing his, so I thought you were gonna be a bureaucracy person.
Oh well, I was thinking schemer in the sense that they're scheming in favor of the civilization. So if you want to be something that's against it, that's
Yeah, I think I'll
Well,
be
the
I'll be
good news
against
is
it.
that you can swap between what I guess side you're on.
I wanna be
depending on
like-
which scene you're in.
I want to do like the leader of the opposition,
So you're gonna
Okay.
go rebel,
like
as
a
your
rebel
archetype.
spy.
So you want to
but
be
like
a
a
leader.
combination. Yeah.
I would say that a leader would be a good archetype for that,
Okay.
Yeah.
or
That
a
means you're whoever's in
politician.
charge. I'm gonna go warrior. Warrior is my archetype, so maybe
Okay.
I'll be a fairy, maybe I'll be a rebel, maybe I'll be something else.
Mhm. My archetype, I think I would like to go with philanthropist, if I can say it properly.
That's your first
Philanthropist.
A philanthropist.
Pest.
So someone that does kind things for various reasons.
Warrior for the unfathomable threat. You never know.
It will expand your mind and raise you into the good stuff.
One.
The good
Also, our
place.
cup is full.
Yay.
We covered it up.
Yay!
Thank you.
Now someone can
We're
wreck
best.
it.
Where do we go next? So now we've all chosen our archetypes. This is the type of person we're going to play that will morph throughout the scene. I'm going to describe in general how the actual scenes play out. And it's unusual, but I really like it because what happens is we go around and each person asks a question. They write it down and then they pick two of the players and say, you two are in this scene, answer this question for me. So for instance, what happens when the volcano explodes? The fixer and the warrior are in this together. See what happens. And when that question is answered, that is when scene ends, and we can all kind of, I guess, come to a conclusion
Agreed.
about how we answer that. And then we write down what it implies about our world and discuss from there. We choose two players, chosen players, set. And the people that are in the scene, they get to set it. They get to describe what is going on, what is going down, what the conflict is. All of that stuff is entirely up to them, which is a lot of work off my shoulders. And then we just move around the circle, asking more questions. And this happens several times as we go through the rise phase, as the dystopia builds itself up into something and we learn about the world. The established order phase, where the dystopia is in full swing, full power, and probably doing all sorts of horrible things. And then the fall stage, the end, how this thing comes down. So I think we should.
I like the variety of archetypes we have Philanthropist,
Absolutely.
leader, schemer, and warrior. This is only gonna go real well.
Great.
Okay.
The 1930s with tiny dragons.
I
It's
know.
okay. We
I'm
start with
for
the
it.
rise phase. That can't go wrong.
Mm-hmm. Rising is
Right.
good because it happens to bread. So,
Bread.
What?
does
I mean,
anyone...
red is good, therefore. I get it. No, I follow the logic.
Exactly. I know what I'm talking about. Right. Let's begin the rise phase, in which someone asks a question. So if anyone has a question...
I have a question.
Oh, yeah?
Just because someone made a comment, I'm like, actually, this is a great question. What prohibition has started?
Ah.
What is it?
Cool.
And I get to pick two people to be in the scene with me?
Yep. Oh,
Oh, together.
you can
don't have
pick...
to be in the
Oh, I'm not even
It's
in the
just
scene.
two people.
Oh,
You don't have to be in it if you don't want to.
okay.
But you...
It makes sense then. I think Beb's character, you were going to be the bureaucracy person, right?
Mhm.
So it makes sense for you to be in that scene.
Alright.
I feel like I kind of want Lauren's character being there, just because a warrior having a conversation with someone else about. Basically, he's probably trying to tell you like this is what needs to happen. Yeah, you're like the enforcer of it. So yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess from here, each of you create an avatar, which you name, you describe them, you place them in the scene, you set the scene itself, and where you are, what you're talking about. And I guess your position on this particular question. We'll hash it out.
So this is going to be like highish level. This is going to be some top level decisions. So I guess it's going to
Yeah.
be like
Yeah, these are like
the people in charge.
governmental. So I feel like governmental, totally a word. My avatar would probably make sense to be like a general of some kind, or like the military council advisor or something like that, or even just like the police chief.
On 73 and page 73 and 74, there are, I guess, a list of things you can think about if you want help setting the scene, but otherwise, do what you want.
I should grab some names from our name list.
Oh, yeah.
If people can't think of names, we could grab names.
All right, I'm gonna be police chief.
Yeah, police chief.
As a warrior.
There's some really funny names in.
Avatars.
I'm going to be police or chief of police, not police chief. Can't spell either.
Police
so.
chief with the badge.
I have the badge, and that's how you know I'm important. No, I know. Am I fairy? No, I don't think the police are not fairies, because fairies are military. I think the police, law enforcement, are halflings.
Nice.
Because why not?
Yeah.
So I'm a halfling. Very small. And I feel like I'm like police chief, like Rosie.
This is a
Something.
name that someone has in here. I don't know if you want to use this name.
Okay. Yes, I'll use it. That one's
Okay.
been there for so long.
It's a ridiculous name, and it's been there forever. Yeah.
Police Chief Jenkins. Police Chief Brengarita Jenkins.
This is from RizCat. So thank you, RizCat.
And I feel like we're in a meeting. We're in a very important meeting.
I'm trying to like. How do you? I think it's like Berengaria, right? Is that kind of flower?
Yes.
Berengaria.
Berengaria.
Oh,
Berengaria.
where are you seeing this?
I'll do it.
I put it in the
It's
chat. I
we
put it in the doc.
Because it's from the
Gosh.
NPC names list.
I put it in the
Sounds
doc.
like
I was looking at the wrong thing. Yeah.
Berengaria Jenkins.
it seems like it's a flower.
It does seem like a flower.
I think there is a flower that is like similar named. Berengar. There's some type of flower.
I'll Google it.
Yeah.
So, Bentham, who
So
are you talking to? in
So
this?
I'm probably like the leader of the time, right? And now I'm wondering what their like the name of their position would be.
Ooh.
Like this is the rise, so is this like this could be early when you're still using like this is totally a democratic term.
I mean, in fairness,
Where
even non-democratic dystopians use democratic terms. I'm president.
There you go.
It's true.
El Presidente.
I'm just kidding. You don't need to use that name.
Chancellor.
I could be. Yeah, I was thinking like High Chancellor. Just go prequel memes with it.
Yeah.
I'm just the Emperor.
The Emperor. Nice.
No, I'm High Chancellor, but
Oh, High Chancellor. Okay.
maybe thinks of himself as. How do you spell Chancellor? God damn, I can't
Well,
spell.
It'll
No
autocorrect
one
for
can
you.
spell. Oh, I
You
did
got
I
it.
got it
That's
right.
good spell we have learned.
I keep like fixing everyone's text because I'm OCD.
She's just here to spell check for us.
Like, what is happening?
I'm gonna check the NPC names.
You didn't like the one I put in your thing for you?
Sir Argle the Bargle. I don't
Yeah.
think I've got a knighthood.
High
I don't think
Chancellor
there's a monarchy
Ogle the
in this
Boggle.
thing.
Can you imagine High Chancellor Ogle the Boggle?
Oh yeah, I thought you were just putting that as
Chancellor
it as a joke, but that is on the NPC names list.
I
no.
wasn't joking. That's on the list.
I could.
Argle of Boggle.
I love some of the. I've got it. I am High Chancellor Skull.
Ooh, that's a good
Skull?
one. Yeah. Good
That
one.
was on the list.
Goal.
Schaefer Skull. I'm High Chancellor Schaefer Skull.
I like it. That's from
Also, I feel
Oberon.
like
Thank you, Oberon.
if we're doing the full range of fancy races, he's got to be an elf. Totally one of the good ones.
Yeah.
Honest.
Yeah, for sure. You're totally a good elf.
That
Yeah.
sounds more tiefling to me, but okay.
Just like the idea that all of the military force are really small. like the fairies.
ti-
I will break your kneecaps.
Dude, if you've ever
Step
played
away, she's got
Pathfinder,
sparkles.
I'm gonna let you know those tooth fairies are scary AF.
Right? Like,
Because
the
they put you to
police are
sleep.
halfling?
No, they put you to sleep and then they coup de grace you.
That's true. I feel like
It's
with halflings,
horrifying.
that kind of makes sense because they're there to make you think that it's very nice, right? They're like, hi, we're just
Yeah.
We're just gonna check on your teeth.
We're your friendly neighborhood police officers. Ignore the existential horror.
So, High Chancellor Skull, what are we discussing right now? Are we in your office? Like, is this perhaps before or after a vote?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be in his office, and I think he's just spitballing ideas for
We're having some
how
problems.
to go forward.
We're definitely having some problems in our fair cities of this fine nation, in which I think people are perhaps disrespecting your authority.
Yes, there's been a lot of rowdiness amongst the populace. I had a lot of things thrown at me at the last parade.
That was we apologize profusely. We didn't think that there would be quite so many projectiles in the streets. We went door to door that day and ensured that anyone who thought throwing things was amusing no longer had a good throwing arm.
Excellent work. Yes, I think we need a more general solution.
Yes, perhaps something to prevent such joyous, raucous behaviors.
Calm the populace down. Keep
Wow.
them serious.
What's something that we think our people are finding particularly enjoyable that we need to stop them from enjoying?
He's like, well, there's always drink, and he sips his wine. He's like,
That's too
but...
normal.
Yeah.
Drinking is a depressant. Doesn't make people happy.
That is true.
Makes
That
them
is true.
sad. In fact, we should
you're
encourage
thinking.
more of it. Perhaps we get rid of art. Just in general.
Ah, yes.
Ban all art. Artistic expression.
We could allow some that glorifies our nation.
Yes. Art that is specifically
Oh,
commissioned by the government. Of course.
what have I done?
Only sanctioned art.
That makes it easier. Then we can just kind of work through what we have and
And then we just say that
Make things
wasn't
the way it's needed.
sanctioned, and we take them away to
Exactly.
a re-sanctioning camp.
that'll help. Dampen the people's spirits.
Yes, and sad people don't throw things.
It's true. Well, as long as they're sad but not angry. When they're angry, they throw things.
Exactly. And I think as long as we ensure that all of our official sanctioned arts are sufficiently depressing, but also entertaining.
I'm sure we can have a department work on that conundrum.
The Department of Art. The art department.
The art department.
Chronically underfunded.
Oh, Josh can come in as the director of art. Because you're the philanthropist, right? Oh no, this is not going to go well for you.
I feel like he'd be like the guy funding all the art we don't like.
The police are definitely going to need more funding to ensure this ban on art.
All right. We'll have to. Maybe I'll tax something. We'll work it out.
Excellent. Tax
maybe alcohol. No, we need to not tax the alcohol.
Caffeine. Tax caffeine.
Yes, good. Keep them tired.
Keep them tired. Keep them sad. Excellent.
And if they're not tired, they're poor because they bought caffeine.
And that makes it their own fault.
Sorted.
Well, now your job is to get this bill passed, and I'll go break some legs. Halfling walks out of the office.
Oh my gosh, what just happened?
Well, you asked us what was banned, and the answer was art.
Oh no. All right, where do I put that?
I'm just gonna...
Oh, you're gonna put it in a different section.
Yeah.
But the sanctioned art is fine. Yeah, officially sanctioned art is allowed.
Oh goodness.
Using
And we
quotes,
take all the bad art and we burn it in an event.
No, I loved it. I loved it and hated it all at the same time.
It's like, I feel terrible, but this is how this works, oh no.
Yeah.
Excellent. The art department.
Someone's like, wasn't this a movie?
Yeah, I think it was a movie inspired by a true story.
Several movies. Banning art is a very common thing to do.
Yeah, there are quite a few movies that, and there's also some interesting. I watched this one European movie that was like that. It was Spanish. It was really interesting, like Spain Spanish.
We've got a lot of actual dystopias to draw inspiration from.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you guys could have picked anything. You went art.
Went art, yeah. That leads into the dystopia. That was part of the rise.
Yeah,
You know?
alcohol is too mainstream. That even happens in non-dystopias.
Yeah.
Who wants that?
I wouldn't argue it's not a dystopia. Anyway, continue.
I just hate those two
Okay.
characters. They're like, we'll keep them sad and tired. Oh my gosh.
Keep everyone sad and tired.
You guys would get along great with Zoe and Rupert. I'm just.
I feel like we've answered the question, what prohibition started?
We did. So everyone else has to pick a question now, right?
Yeah. Everyone,
the
we
rise.
go around.
Sorry, that was like, it just came to me right away. I was
No,
like,
that's good. That's a good question.
Does anyone have a question?
I do.
Maggie.
I've got a lot of questions.
Actually, someone gets two, I think, right?
I don't know.
Or was it everyone?
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
Some of the things are like you can do one or two of this.
That was the.
I do have another question if I get a second question.
Yeah, it depends. I think we'll judge it by time actually, so we can move on to the
I
different
feel
phases.
like I have a question, but I can't quite
We can help you formulate it. What was
pin it down. I was thinking along the lines of like either tying in the dragons or just something that kind of addresses our standards of the world. Like, why are there fairies? Why are they the army?
like kind of more related to the current threat.
When did the unfathomable threat first become known?
Ooh, that's a good
When
question.
and how? So I feel like I want a scene. And who do we have? We got a philanthropist, a leader. I think Maggie, the leader, will be in this, and I think.
I'm a rebel leader, though.
Well, you can be any type of leader.
Oh,
like your
okay.
archetype is leader, so it doesn't really matter.
So I'll
I
play
think
all the
I
leader
like
type
this,
characters. I see.
because this could be a good conflict. I want to see the leader and the schemer, because you can be on the other sides of maybe
Yeah, there's like a power dynamic going on.
of
Okay.
what
Like
that mean means to you.
Me being like, I'm in charge, and me being like, do you feel in charge?
Okay.
So what was the question? When and how did the unfathomable threat appear?
Or first become known. Yeah, but appear.
Okay.
Yeah. Could have been there all along.
And now you have to create avatars or reuse ones that you've already used. But
Yeah, you can still be chancellors. High Chancellor's
High
school.
Chancellor's
Perhaps it is
school.
before
Yeah.
he was High Chancellor.
Oh,
Because we
yeah.
don't have to go in chronological order. This could totally be before the ban on art.
Yeah, this could be like the earlier days of Skull's career. And then maybe he manages to exploit the situation to gain power.
Who would I be in this scenario, though? Guess if there's a threat, would I be like...
You could be the leadership before the threat was known about, maybe.
Maybe like
could
an
be
intelligence?
the leader of something, a
An
group that
agency, yeah.
explored wherever the threat came from.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, like
Leader of a military group.
do you think you're more like a general?
Maybe we
Or-
delve too greedily and too deep.
Are we thinking more like
That's up to you, I think.
Like the
I was
digging
thinking
type?
Pith Helmet style explorer leader.
Oh yeah.
Well, like we could do like the
adventurer.
what do you call it when you like dig like excavation style,
Archaeologist?
like
Oh,
an
yeah.
archaeologist,
Ooh yeah.
archaeologist,
That
like a leader
leader.
of like an archaeologist.
profession of some kind.
What would be who would be running the archaeologist site? What's the name of person who would do it?
Probably just a dig leader. I think what they call them.
So we'll call it dig
We
leader.
need EE for
Oh,
this, right?
I totally have a name for this person, and their name is gonna be Peepo.
I was kind of hoping it was like Rockerson.
Yeah. This is from the name list that we have. So we're just pumping out those names, man.
Yeah.
Thank you all for submitting names. They're all gonna die now. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
might have to update that because I think there might be some more to add. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I can start looking.
Dig
for that.
leader Peepo. People just call him Poe.
All right, Dig Leader Poe.
Dig leader Poe.
And
He's an
Senator
archaeologist.
Soul.
I'm just the first person you get to when you're looking for someone, perhaps. Like I need someone important. and I
Okay,
happen to
so
be
what
there. I'm
happens
like,
is
I'm
I
important.
what I imagine is we find like this ancient artifact or something like that underneath, and someone touches it, and then like it kind of takes over their mind and some crazy shit, and they start like changing form, and then all of us ran out because we're scared, right? We want to live, and I'm just like
Close the
grabbing everything I
doors.
can. We're all grabbing everything we can, and we rush in, and we're like, we need to speak with someone.
Take it. Are you also a halfling?
I feel like he's like a goblin.
Goblin. Yes.
Nice. Yeah, I think maybe it's the thing of like you turn up being like there's crazy.
I'm right now. I'm saying we
horrifying
need to
things going
speak
on.
with someone. Like right now, this is
But
happening.
like you show up and like no one's taking you seriously. Like oh, it's just someone raving madly about the end of the world, and then I'm like,
Oh yeah. Okay. I'll act
yeah.
that out. I like grab someone by the neck. I climb up them, grab them by their collar, and I'm like, they're coming. I don't know what they are, but they're coming. And then like the person probably kind of pushes me off, and then I climb up on top of a desk, and I'm like explaining what they look like, and I'm like I'm just causing a ruckus in the middle of this like government building, probably.
I think
Do
like yeah, there's a little bit of this, and then after I hear the commotion and end up showing up, and I'm like, I think we need to speak. Come with me.
Finally, someone will listen to me. You'll see, all of you. You make fun of me now, but when they're coming and they claw your faces into bits, you won't be laughing.
And he marches, follows you.
I think we sit down in his smaller past office, and he's like, okay, tell me what you saw.
Well, I didn't see everything, but we found this. It looked like some kind of like a control panel. So my guys dug it out. We were just digging, like we normally do, pulling out pieces, and Doggy, hit something. He touched something. He's always been a curious one, you know? He can never not just... This is why I try not to have him first on site, but, Danny was sick, so Doggy had to take his place. They're twins. I don't know. Don't ask. Anyways, he touched it, and something happened. He started, like, saying some weird mumbo-jumbo. There were, like, lights and stuff, and then his arm changed, and his legs changed, and he was, like, 50 feet taller than he was before, and we all just ran, and he started wrecking everything. That's gonna cost us a lot. We have all our equipment. We don't have equipment anymore. We don't have equipment anymore. He's like freaking out.
It's like, the world's gonna end. I need compensation for my equipment.
You're just like pacing back and forth on top of the desk.
Yeah, there you go.
I think he pauses for a minute and he's like, yeah, this is incredibly serious. This, I've never heard of something quite like this before. Perhaps,
It's
some research in the
unfathomable.
past on
He says, like, in your eyes.
the potential for past civilizations or civilizations outside our own. And this sounds like you uncovered something, and it's caused a significant problem. This must be addressed.
I'm sorry, sir, but I think it spreads. I think when it touches something, it keeps... That's how it replicates or something. Because Doggy touched someone else, and then they turned, and it just kept happening. A few of us were able to hide. We dug a hole. You know, we're good at digging holes. So that's what we did. We dug a hole. And I guess they didn't remember that we dug holes, so they just walked right by us. But they're coming. They're on their way.
So this thing is on the move. And
It's coming straight for us, sir.
I see. I think the first thing to do is be careful who you tell about this. You don't want to raise too much alarm. You've come to the right person, I think.
I told everyone along the way,
this.
sir. Sorry, I might have alarmed people, but no one believed me. No one believes me.
All right,
You-
all right. I'll
you
see if I
believe
can
me,
take care
right?
of that.
And he's like holding your
Yes.
shirt.
Yes, I do believe you. And
I
I'm
think
gonna put
that's
a spin
answered
on
the
this. I
question.
think,
Yeah, that was like we can end the scene there on.
well, I want to just add one more thing of like, I think as he's talking about this, he keeps glancing over at a strange-looking artifact on a desk behind.
Oh, snap.
Like, yes, we must take this,
wild.
yes, we must take this very seriously. We'll see what I can do.
Also, like that you became a southern like prospector a little bit in there. It's great. It's good. All right, who's got
Oh,
this?
I want to play Peepo forever. I love him.
I'm sure
He's
he'll
my
be
new
back.
favorite.
That can be back. That's for sure.
That's a good
Afraid
question.
Poe might disappear soon.
Oh no.
Oh no. He's
I-
joining
I-
his army.
So if you want Peepo to disappear, we can have that as canon because anything in the Rise phase.
Oh, that
has
could
to
be your
in
question.
favor of the dystopia coming about.
That could be your question, Beb. How does the High Chancellor disappear?
I was saying Poe disappears.
Oh, how does Poe disappear?
No,
Oh,
the High
yes,
Chancellor
do it.
organizes
Do
the defense against this terrible threat. He does a very, very excellent job of handling it, and in
Oh
the
my
process, maybe certain
gosh.
people vanish.
Mm.
Yeah, he seems to know exactly what to do.
Not Poe. You're not gonna get rid of Poe.
Don't worry, we can see Poe again. Does Josh or Bentham have a question?
Well, I did, but now I've got a different one.
I can
I
say
had
I can say-
questions, but now they've
I can
changed.
say Poe disappears, but that's all we know. No one like shortly after, no one knows where Poe ends up. But that doesn't mean that Skull necessarily achieved his goals there. That could be that
That's
Poe just
true.
got away.
Poe becomes the rebel leader.
Where is Poe really at?
Mhm.
He's become one of them, the monsters.
Okay, I have a question, and I would like, the leader Maggie and the warrior Lauren to decide exactly how Skull's regime begins to use vulnerable tiny dragons to influence the populace.
Okay.
Okay. So how are vulnerable tiny dragons used to influence the populace? I don't think I'm chief of police. So I definitely need a different.
I feel like I'm a general in this case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I guess more specifically, get the populace under control.
And how does that involve a vulnerable tiny dragon?
Yeah.
That's a conundrum.
Yep.
I have a couple of different ideas, but I've got to figure out who the avatar would be for this. As a warrior, I'm almost imagine like Yarf of Yagyard. You're an orc.
My name is General Yarf of Yagyard, and I am an orc.
Okay, then I think I just need to be I'm just like your soldier. Like I'm a lieutenant. I'm a lieutenant.
Lieutenant.
Oh what?
Oh, you just spelled it weird.
Oh yeah, I'm bad at spelling. We all know this. So if I like Yarf of Yagyard, I'm Barf of Bagbard.
Oh no.
Yep.
Yarf and Barf.
And I'm also an orc, but I'm your lieutenant. Your lieutenant. And where do you think we are?
I think we're right in front of a cave where they found a bunch of dragon eggs.
Ooh. Oh! I have an excellent idea. Okay. So Yarf, tall and stout, like looks at you, and I feel like we're like in
Barf?
front of all of these beautiful dragon eggs.
I'm Yarf.
Eggs, and they're like sparkling and glowing. I'm Barf. Sorry, Barf is like picks one of them up gently, being like, High Chancellor Skull said the tiny dragons are the only thing that will protect us from the unfathomable. We have to make sure they get home completely safe. We must protect them with our lives.
I pick up one of them, and I'm like, I still don't know how one of these things is going to be able to help us.
They're small and vulnerable, and they're the only thing that matters now.
But I don't understand.
Are you questioning?
Not questioning, just wondering how a tiny egg is going to save us all, but I guess we'll take them. He just starts putting them in bags.
But be careful with them. They're delicate. They're easily breakable.
If they break, we got like 50 other ones.
But High Chancellor said we need every single one, and if any of them don't make it, then everyone will die. High Chancellor knows.
All right, well, one bag per egg. One bag per egg, everyone.
Everybody, protect it like it's your own child.
We put all of them in. And I assume we once we get all the eggs out of this cave, we take them.
Yeah, and I think we have to go get multiple eggs, and I almost feel like we start handing out eggs to families, like families become responsible for them.
Ooh, like everyone has a little baby dragon that lives in their house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we all have to you see us like go around as soldiers, like being like, here is your baby dragon egg. Here is your manifesto on protecting the baby dragon. Remember, if the baby dragon dies, you will be responsible for the end of the world.
And also, you'll probably die.
With that too, yes, definitely.
You'll be the first. We just leave.
we walk away and just like repeat this process.
Yeah.
Throughout all of the households, or maybe not all of them. You get randomly selected to care for a.
Yeah. So maybe like what the eggs do is they emanate some kind of like magical barrier that protects them.
Maybe.
And so like when they're all spread out, it's like this larger magical barrier. So when whatever the unfathomable threat comes, they like are stuck and they can't get through the barrier.
That's a much nicer version of what I was thinking. I just assumed the dragons were just surveillance devices. It's all just like a way to control people.
I was
for
imagining
sure.
that the dragons did nothing. It was just to distract them.
Could do that too.
I mean, that could definitely be the lie that everyone is told. Like, there's magical barrier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. We all believe that the dragons will put up a magical barrier, and they're like, remember, your dragon will generate a protective barrier, but if the dragon dies, then you will be vulnerable. It's just us, like, passing out dragons.
And putting people in fear.
And that's how come the tiny dragons are part of Skull's regime. Also, we definitely stole dragon eggs. Like, I feel like we flash back to the scene in the cave and there's just a dead dragon that we murdered on the ground.
Probably.
Okay. I feel like
Normal.
that answers the question. Every family has to take care of a tiny dragon. A tiny dragon egg.
The care and feeding of your tiny, vulnerable dragon that will protect us from the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
How to train your tiny, vulnerable dragon that will protect us from the end of the world. There is a whole slew of movies and other, or like art pieces that are
Oh, yeah.
really sanctioned art.
Sanctioned art about how to train your dragon.
But it has to be sad art about
Yeah,
how...
it's sad. Well, it's all showing you what happens if you fail to take care of your dragon.
Yeah, it's about what horrible things might befall these tiny dragons. Like all the perils of a tiny dragon life that you will be responsible for. So people are too busy taking care of dragons to throw things at Skull.
There you go.
And then too sad because they have no art.
All they have is their dragons, and they were given their dragons.
They have
by the
dragon
Chancellor.
propaganda. So.
Skull was so kind as to give them their very own dragon to look after. How could they hate him?
Exactly. Text them. Speaking of, do you have a question?
I'm trying to think. I'm thinking something about how it interacts with other civilizations.
Ooh.
Like
We have not established that any other countries exist.
I'm imagining that there are other cities, but maybe they're part of the same system, or not. So I guess that's the question: is, how does what is the relation between like the capital city and other cities in the world?
Mm.
I feel like we haven't seen a scene with our philanthropist.
Yeah,
True.
get him involved. Maybe he's a trader in this or something.
Yeah, I was thinking someone from either a capital or the other place, depending on who I'm with.
So philanthropist, and then philanthropist and leader. That makes sense.
Mm.
All right, Maggie, make another one.
All right.
The question was, how does the capital interact with the other cities in the world?
Yeah. Whether they be allies or enemies, or
Can I
some
be a
kind
leader of one
thing
of the other
between.
cities?
Yes.
Okay.
I will be a philanthropist from the capital.
And you're going to be a...
I'm
doing it.
Yep. Avatar. He's going to be a business trader person. And what was Skull? Skull was an elf.
I see you're going with classic philanthropist, not actually a philanthropist, just a person with a lot of money who gives some of it away for tax purposes.
Yes. There you go.
I see. I follow you.
I'm going to be a wood elf.
Nice. I mean, I'm also saying, if the government gave me a dog, I might be happy. Like, all right, cool. You gave me a puppy. It's fine.
But it's a dog that's made of egg and it doesn't talk back, and you can't eat it. You can't fry
That's
up that egg.
Yeah, that's true.
Maggie, give me a name from the list.
Oh, you want a name from the list?
Yes, please.
You're a wood elf merchant.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. We're actually doing a pretty good job of using up the names.
Yep, I had to add some more that have recently come in.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good wood elf names.
Okay, I am going to go with Niles Barksley.
Yeah, I don't think any of those names are really good wood elf names per se.
Niles Barksley. Just call me Niles.
Good.
All right,
Wood
Barksley.
Elf Merchant. And this is Wood Elf Merchant from the capital
Okay.
who is trying to convince the you were the leader of another city.
Yeah.
Trying to convince you that you should buy so many dragon eggs.
Okay.
So I unveil. This is like a fancy meeting hall, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my trade cart is pulled up.
She's like sitting on her. It's actually like a like it looks kind of like a boat. Is there like a ship city?
Sitting on a boat.
Yeah.
Okay.
They live on an island.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I unveil this stack of dragon eggs, and they're gleaming and sparkling and polished. And I'm like, these have saved our city. And I don't know if you've heard, but there's something coming. You can have these for free as long as you just make sure everyone follows the rules in this very easy to follow pamphlet.
She kind of motions over someone who's like standing off to her side, who's wearing like full armor or like an armor suit, and he like leans over, listens to what she says, and then comes back out, and he says, Lady Ogle the Boggle would like to see the pamphlet. And he marches forward and offers his hand.
Of course, my lady. Scuttles forward and hands over this to the guard.
He takes the paper and he's like checking it, I guess, to make sure like there's no trap on it or whatever. And then he takes it back to her and hands it to her. And she like reads it slowly with her nose up in the air and pans through it. What does the pamphlet say? What are the rules?
The pamphlet says daily polishings are required to keep the magical effects of the dragon egg. It has to be between 0 and 5 degrees, otherwise the dragon embryo will die, and within a year it will hatch into a beautiful baby dragon, which you are then also responsible for. Any deaths or breakages or cracks in the shell will be taken from your daily provisions, and if you don't take care of it, one per family, you will be expelled.
She stands up and she like smacks her trident on the ground, and it makes like this loud echoing sound inside this like hallway that you're in that looks like a giant shell. And she stands before you up like on a bunch of stairs that are up to this giant boat that she's sitting on. And she looks down at you and she's like, "Are you meaning to say that your city would like to control our city?"
Not at all. However, we have found these a suitable deterrent to the unfathomable constant threat that is befallen our land, and Senator Skoll just wants the best for the people who live here.
Who's to say you're not the ones bringing this unfathomable threat?
We found the way to stop it. Why would we try and prevent something if we're using whatever this dark evil mind control thingy is? I've seen them, Your Grace. I've seen them. There's demons. They've not got their minds right. There's goblins and elves and all sorts, and they're just unless you hide in a hole, they're gonna try and kill you.
And that is why we have.
Your entire city is in a hole?
No. We are surrounded by water.
I don't think they care about that. They just float I don't know if you've seen one of those magical ant colonies that kind of builds bridges into the air out of millions of
Are you
different
questioning
ants,
my
but it's-
army's expertise?
Of course not. However, we should band together. The fairies have pledged their allegiance to Skoll to prevent this disaster.
The fairies. Yes, they have pledged their allegiance to Skoll. But have they pledged their allegiance to the rest of us? Those of us who have been left behind? Do you not know how our cities have gotten on without the protection of your people?
Well, I am a humble merchant, but I am aware of the monetary difficulties that various cities around the land have been.
And now you want to tax our people if we can't take care of a tiny dragon egg, when we can barely take care of our own people and feed our own.
Well, this is where Skoll's plan comes into action. You will not be taxed. This
It's
is
not
a
what it
gift.
says in this pamphlet.
The only tax will incur once a dragon egg has been destroyed. That is against our highest laws. I think he put that into writing the other day.
We will think on this. Good day. Good day, sir.
Of course, Your Grace.
And like they kind of
He
like
skulks out.
yeah, they push you out. Release the Kraken. Yes, and now we never see of Gnarls Barksley ever again.
And he disappears.
No, just kidding.
Well, I was thinking, does the
I like the idea
Does
that the
Lady
capital
Argle-
city doesn't, like the other cities in the world don't get along with the capital city.
Oh,
That's what I was
absolutely.
trying to go for. Like that the other leaders feel that Skull is trying to control their cities, when before we all just worked together cohesively, and now he's trying to like take little bits of control where he can.
Yeah, no, that sounds legit.
Okay. So
And
I
maybe
think
they haven't been able to help the other cities as well. So maybe there's some that just don't exist anymore, right? Because they've been demolished by these
They've
crazy
been
creatures.
destroyed.
Yeah.
right, because any who stand against Skull definitely find themselves in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, the unfathomable comes for them.
Mm-hmm.
So no one likes Skull, but he seems to be the person to be friends with.
Yeah.
If you want to not die.
If you want to not die, vote Skull.
Weird coincidences of like, as soon as you reject the offer of the egg, suddenly you start getting murdered.
Ooh.
Heard that?
Oh, now there's gonna be an army of like the Argle, the Bargle,
Right, yeah.
the Bargles versus whatever our city's called.
The skulls.
What did you... Yeah, what's the name of another city?
It's gonna be the Bargle.
Lady Argle the Bargle of the Bargle.
Bargles. That makes sense.
Yeah, the Bargles. Ooh, of
Underground,
Backyard,
overground,
back bar in
bargling
our
free.
the
places.
Bargles. Yes, Bargles.
We're Skulllandia.
We're Skulllandia. Yes, Skulllandia.
I don't know if he'd name it after himself. I'm not sure if he's that
Maybe
full
he
of
was named
himself
after
or
the
not.
country. The long line of skulls. Maybe Skull is just a really common last name. It's like our version of Smith.
I am Emperor Smith.
Uh,
John Smith the 43rd.
Okay. So I think the answer to how does the capital interact with other cities in the world is they don't get along, but rejecting...
It's not for long.
yeah.
In Skull's words, they fall in line eventually.
Or they fall.
And then
I like
we see the scene of the island getting attacked. They're like, they're pushing they're using their ship, because they're all their armies like ships and stuff like that.
The naval.
The naval, yeah, they're a naval.
Okay.
That was fun.
Yeah. I think we have time for at least one more question in the Rise section of this.
Ooh,
which
I have a question.
think... All right, cool.
If no one else has
Does
one.
it kind of tie it all together?
Kind
and-
of, yeah. Well, depending
it.
on how you answer it, I guess.
Yeah, true.
Who is overthrown?
Oh, Skull's got to
Ooh.
be killed by rebels. That's clearly what it's
Oh, but that wouldn't be part of the rise though. Like I assume.
Oh, no, you're
that,
right.
That might
Unless-
come later.
Yeah.
Unless, the rebels are the ones who are doing it all along. I don't know.
Ooh.
There's so many layers.
No. Here's the question. What do the eggs really do?
Ah.
And I kind of think that the philanthropist makes sense here. And also,
I mean,
either the
it's-
schemer or the warrior, because there's two different scenarios where they could be.
Yeah.
I feel like warrior because Lauren hasn't been in as many scenes. Well, no, you guys
I
have
don't
both
mind,
been
it's
in the
fine.
same amount of scenes.
I think Skull probably is the one who would know, right?
Yeah. True. I like to leave it not in his hand.
Doesn't have to be me.
Okay.
Because you can do either like Skull being like, "This is my grand plan," or you do someone else uncovering Skull's
Yeah,
grand
I
plan.
think uncovering your plan is better. Let's do the philanthropist and the warrior.
Okay.
A scene with the two of
Okay.
you. And the question
gonna
is,
This
Need your
means I
help
don't
here,
have to
babe.
come up with a grand plan.
Okay.
Okay. No, all I've got so far is I imagine that it's something about after the dragons have hatched or reached a certain age, he takes them, and it's something to do with dragonfire. That makes sense to me.
Okay.
And it's not even to do with the great threat. This is just some other thing he's doing with it.
well, let's see what they think it really is.
Okay.
Dragon blood.
Am I?
Yeah. Who are you? I would like to be Niles again because Niles feels like a crony.
Okay.
I do like him. I like his mannerisms.
I like Gnarls. Are we? What sort of situation do we think we're in? Are we uncovering this grand plan? Are we just discussing it? Maybe we know it. I could go back
I would
to
say
being-
that's up to you. You can either uncover it or I guess go along with it or like resist it.
Yeah, I mean, I could just go back to being Chief of Police Jenkins. I feel like if we're
Maybe your
being-
next door neighbors.
we're being crony-esque.
Maybe this is during the early stages after the first time the dragons were handed out, and now this is the part where like a dragon's reached a certain maturity and you've got orders to bring it in, and now you find out what happens when you bring it in.
Yes. Okay, so we are we're at some sort of like a research facility or something, and next to this halfling police chief Berengaria Jenkins, whatever Jenkins. There is like a small cage, sort of like a kennel type thing, but it's all covered, and inside we just hear like little snuffing, sort of snarling noises, and occasionally like smoke rises up from the outside.
They're communicating by smoke signals.
And there's several people like pushing it in. And Jenkins comes in and is like, I'm here with a delivery.
Ah, wonderful. Well, just over here, please. We're
Barkley,
we've collected quite a few of them now.
didn't realize you were in charge of this operation.
I have been gifted the honor of organizing distributions of eggs.
And collections, I see. I wasn't expecting
Yes.
us to be picking these up. They put up a little bit of a fight.
Oh, well, I hope no
The
one got
family,
hurt.
that is.
Absolutely.
They
Well-
seemed concerned that we were taking away their protection.
Oh, no. Reinforce the idea that the magical protection of these dragon eggs will be renewed. We need to deliver more eggs once they've been taken away. I think the love that these dragons have been given can be repurposed.
I assured them that they aren't to question anything we do or say.
Absolutely. And how is your dragon egg doing?
My family was not gifted with one, you see.
Ah, looks you up and down.
I assume yours wasn't either.
Alas, I am all alone. However, I have a family.
Hard for the heartless to care.
I have a family amongst the people of the city.
And they are the ones I care for as well.
Absolutely. And then you'll understand why we need to distribute these eggs.
We'll have the soldiers pass out another batch to a new randomly selected group of families. It certainly seems to be keeping everybody placated. As for this one, and she like pushes over the cart that like two soldiers are like uncomfortably like. Ugh.
I think there's
They gave it a name.
Oh. What?
They called it Cheese.
Cheese the dragon.
I assume they'll never see it again.
Once the dragons have been repurposed, I'm sure that they will see it again.
Just like raises an eyebrow. What is this repurposing?
Would you like to be in on a little secret?
I think I might already know a few things. But yes, of course I would.
Come with me. I'm sure you'll understand the greater works that are happening here.
She'll
And
follow.
I take Jenkins into a back room, which is made of a circle of stone and pillars, and then carving.
Totally not ominous at all.
Not ominous at all.
No.
Carved into the center is a depiction of the symbol of dragon's fire in a circle and various runes around the circle. Please, if you don't mind, take the lead on that dragon over there. Oh, a wonderful specimen.
She dismisses her other two police officers and like gets the dragon out of the cage and like, you know, scratches it behind its head and then shuffles it towards you.
Wonderful, loving creatures, aren't they?
They're so very kind, I think.
Generous.
Is that what it is?
I would say so. Now, please, lead it.
You should know a thing or two about generosity.
Exactly. I've been lucky enough to distribute these. And now, to bring them back home. Now, lead it into the center of the circle.
She like gestures to the dragon. I think she does the thing. She puts the dragon, then walks around to the other side, and it's like, and like, you know, they teach them all basic commands. Sit. Throws it a treat.
Wonderful. Oh, it goes over and scratches it under the chin, takes off the lead, and then goes over to a panel where he presses a button.
Lever.
Yeah, pulls a big old Frankenstein lever, and then the runes on the floor light up, and the dragon begins to disperse. Do you know what these dragons are fed on?
Something about a feeling.
Yes. Well, they keep people where they need to be. They absorb all of their love and happiness. And we repurpose it. And you can see it going and floating up into a big black crystal
Yeah.
in the ceiling.
We're the Skeksis now is what we've become.
Yes.
And in return, this crystal keeps us safe from that
Excellent.
unfathomable threat.
And that
out
is
there.
a very kind, generous thing for us to do for these people. And all they need to do is care for a tiny dragon egg.
And they do. They pour all of their love
Mhm.
into this beautiful dragon. And you can see the dragon is uncomfortable. It's kind of scratching at the magical walls of this rune and it's having a bad time. And slowly it dissipates and disappears.
There's no dragon left. I also feel like the dragons do a little bit like they're not entirely altruistic, right? Because like some animals, especially baby animals, they kind of do that thing where they trick your brain into like really making you want to care about them irrationally. I think they do that. I think they have like an aura that's like, you have to care for me. I'm so young and vulnerable. So it also keeps the people in line.
Oh,
Think,
yeah.
think, look at my cute eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah, tiny cat
They
eyes.
are also manipulative and just like watching as this dragon gets destroyed. Manipulative and very cute. If I could understand what cuteness was. I've been told I'm cute, and I punch them in the face.
Well, I think at this point it's your decision, Jenkins. I get out a big golden egg. Would you like a little bit more responsibility? And I proffer it towards you. Or are we going to have to make sure that the secrets you've learned today don't go anywhere else?
She just kind of looks at you. Gnarls. Gnarls, my friend. In this situation, do you really think you can take me?
Oh, I don't need to take you. If I disappear, you'll be in a world of trouble. And certainly this won't stop.
You and I have similar desires in this situation. I'm merely here to keep the peace, and you're merely here to keep us safe. Why would I ever want to disagree with you? But I don't think I could do a particularly good job of raising that thing.
Oh, this one's special. It's just for you. There's no harvesting of this one. It's a gift from me to you.
I know what you do with your gifts.
Very well. I will keep this for myself. He puts it under a cloak.
Yeah, 1930s cloak.
It just disappears.
And Jenkins leaves your strange, love-sapping room.
I think there needs to be another form of love sapping in that room.
Get out!
And I've already shipped it. It's Gnarlkins, and it's adorable.
And then Jenkins, meets up with the remaining policeman's like, oh, we're done here. We have a few more to pick up.
Great job, team.
He wants
work.
her to become a dragon rider.
Good.
Oh no.
Good.
What is the answer to what do the eggs really do?
They fuel the
Power of
crystal.
crystal.
Yeah, they fuel the
power
crystal.
A crystal that powers a magical barrier that protects us from the unfathomable, but also they have like mind warping abilities to make people.
They sap the love and happiness out of people, right? Those are two different things.
I don't think there's a barrier. I think either
I'm
Skull's
sure the
taking
crystal
all the
has
power
nothing
for
to do with
himself.
protecting
So I think
Or-
the things
or
are,
the
what do the
crystal is
eggs really
giving
do?
power to the entity.
The eggs sap love and happiness from people. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is they power the crystal. We don't know what the crystal does, right? That could be
they
something
power the
we
crystal.
discover in the downfall or whatever.
They sap love, and then I think they also like exude an aura.
Oh yeah, that thing.
That like keeps people calm.
Yeah.
Or invested in their well-being.
Yes. They have an affectionate aura or something like that.
Love is then redirected to the skull. Sexy.
Oh dear.
It was very skexy.
Yeah. So wait, you're the scientist. I'm Chancellor. No.
Oh yeah, I'd love to be the scientist. Isn't the scientist voiced by Luke Skywalker?
I don't know. I can't
Mark
remember.
Hamill.
Mark Hamill. Yeah.
At least the current iteration is.
Yeah, in the new one of the new series.
I need to actually watch
keep the
series 'cause
populace
I haven't, so I
docile.
just know bits.
Yeah, it keeps them docile. Thank
There you go. That's from the Firefly movie. in
you.
Princess.
Yes, Gexo is the emperor. Chamberlain, that's the one. That's what I was thinking of. There's the priest, there's the scientist. Yeah. Skektek.
Skektek. This is Skull Tech.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, hail the Emperor.
Okay, I think we can do one more question about the rise, but it seems like we got it under wraps.
I think
That
we've
part of
covered
the story?
most of it.
Yeah.
Unless
think,
anyone
yeah.
has anything they'd really like to explore to kind of
We could ask more questions,
go
I'm
how
sure.
it rose.
I mean, I can come up with more questions if you want.
It needs to be someone else.
I
so
know, I
maybe-
know. I'm like, I had lots of questions.
How about we haven't really addressed the bureaucracy, so
Ooh.
let's do a question about
Like, how does the
uh,
city work type of thing.
like
Yeah.
how what's I guess we do in the other one we do talk about the day-to-day life, so I feel like that's maybe more relevant for the next section.
Mm.
Oh, if we want to do that, can we do like how did people decide to follow this new regime? Or something like that? Or no?
I mean, we kind of answered that already, I feel
We've
like.
established it.
Yeah.
Mm.
We can
True.
do the
Okay.
perspective of the people on the ground, because so far we've been all the leadership types.
Or we can move on to the next section. I don't know what.
That is also
Whatever
an
works.
option.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess what's it like to raise a baby dragon?
Ooh.
And I feel like I want to see. I think Maggie, we could do a leader. And a schemer. Maybe you're a family of some kind.
Okay.
Babbly Dragon.
Who will I be this time? Because this isn't Skull.
Place.
Yeah, no, this isn't Skull. You need to be someone new.
Damn.
Maybe someone we'll see later in the
Or, I mean, if you want, you could do Philanthropist. He hasn't had many scenes.
It's
We've
true.
had a couple. You've had about as many as anyone else. But you can choose whoever.
Okay. Right. Let me come up with a name. Also, a leader. And this is gonna be us raising eggs or whatever.
Yeah,
Who's just the leader of a family then?
Yeah, could I be like a household leader?
Yeah. That would totally make sense. I mean, you could be the matriarchal grandmother. You
Yeah.
could be a father. You could just be a really pushy kid.
I'm gonna be a grandmama.
Yes.
Her name is just gonna be Granny.
Just Granny.
Granny.
Just Granny.
Just Gran.
Gran.
I like the idea of the schemer being like the skeptical child.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a kid.
Oh, you could be my kid. Or like my grandchild.
Yeah, you're a grandchild, but you're like,
Yep. I'm gonna be
She
Barnabas
sounds
Niles.
like a Skeksis.
Barnabas Niles. These names are the best.
Barnabas Niles. Oh my god.
And then maybe we could
Make sure
Barnabas
you mark
Niles
off-
the kid.
Make sure you mark off that name.
My friends call me Barney.
Cool Bonnie.
No, that's not fair. That's my line.
So, perhaps you were recently gifted your dragon egg, maybe like a week or two ago. Where
Maybe we're
does
watching it hatch.
Yeah, you're watching the Dragon Age hatch.
Well, maybe we're tending to it and then it hatches as we're tending to it.
You've had it for maybe a year.
So, I'm kind of like, I got like a cane and I'm walking towards the thing and I'm like,
Barney, it's time. You know what to do. Go grab the oil so we can clean the egg.
Okay.
It needs its daily polishing. You know, we have this list.
and she like opens a scroll and it like falls to the floor and then she's trying to grab it back up.
Oh, my hips, I can't bend that far. Barney, grab that for me as well.
Yep, I like gather all the stuff together and run up and start like polishing the egg.
She like sits in a rocker chair and you just hear the rocking chair creaking while you're polishing the egg.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't see how the polishing is supposed to help.
I don't know what's on the list. We just do what it says.
Like, what does this even do? It's an egg. Like, it just opens, right? Who cares what the outside looks like?
He said that it protects us, so we have to take care of it, young one.
Okay, fine.
You
Karen
know,
pulls her
things
leg.
are not always apparent just from the outside. Sometimes there's things within that can affect the world around you. Just
Well, I
like
can't
your
polish
heart.
the within.
And she touches where your heart is.
Like, okay, fine. If the thing says it matters, I guess it has to matter.
Good boy, good boy.
And she rustles your hair.
Now it looks
Squirms.
like you have to do that for another 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Take shifts.
Well, I do have some cookies ready for you. I'll go grab those.
Yeah.
She waddles her way back to the kitchen to grab the tray of cookies and milk. And I think
while I'm buffing this egg, I've got to see my face in it. Got to be able to eat off of it.
I think that's when it cracks
I think-
open.
Yeah, there's a part where he polishes a bit of it and then it goes. He's like, oh no.
What happened?
She waddles her way back with a tray of cookies, and then
If she's coming back in, I rotate the egg 180.
oh man, I think she sees it before and she drops the tray of cookies and milk everywhere.
No, the cookies.
What did you do?
Nothing. I was just polishing it.
Didn't break it, did you, boy?
And she
No,
she
it
wanders
broke
over.
itself. That's how eggs work. They do that.
She looks at the crack. And I guess, what do we see when we look in the crack?
I think like
guess-
another little bit falls off, and then there's just an eye.
It's just a big yellow eye with
There's
we
something
both
in-
we're just staring at it.
There's something in there.
Huh. Is it hatching? Is there a bit on the scroll about what happens when it
I
hatches?
don't know. Look at it. Look at it.
She hands you the scroll and it's like a mess.
Wobble.
I guess-
There's like another scroll. There's like the egg care scroll, and then there's the hatching procedure scroll, and then the caring for a dragon scroll set of the various different things.
It looks scary. What does the scroll say we should do with it?
It says we just have to wait and let it break out, and then there's a time, and if after that time we're supposed to tap on it, I think, but not yet. It's if it doesn't come out.
All
tap
right.
on the top with a spoon.
Come on, little
There's
guy.
like a flow chart.
girl,
It says
whatever
like
you
right
are.
now we're on wait 30 minutes, and then there's like 3 branches.
Get out the egg timer.
She goes and gets an egg timer.
Yeah, it is a ceremonial egg timer
Yeah.
delivered with the egg for timing the egg.
She gets the ceremonial dragon egg timer and she turns it and they wait and they're staring until the egg breaks
We
out.
watch it like rocks, and like a little claw comes out, and a little claw, and then like a nose, a puff of smoke, and then it just starts screaming.
Now, what does it say to do, Barney?
Now switch scrolls. I throw away the current scroll, grab another scroll.
How do we
It's
make it be
feeding,
quiet?
feeding. I think it's feeding.
being very loud.
The dragon is crying flowchart.
I think we just take care of it, I guess. We do all of the things that are on the scroll.
Yeah.
And then
It's like step 1, ensure it's not in
Scream for an
danger.
hour.
Step 2, make sure it's fed. Step 3, make sure it's burped.
Belcher's fire.
and then
Yeah,
I guess
when burping,
have
point
to-
dragon away from self and
we have to
flammable
turn it
items.
into the police. Is that what
I
it
think
is?
you raise it for a little while.
Yeah, we
Okay.
keep it for a while and then
When it hits a certain
Raising a
maturity
guide dog
level.
puppy, except ominous.
I guess when it
Yeah,
hits
you
a
have to
certain
train it.
maturity level, then
Keeps on trying to eat Bentham's character. Barnabas.
I feel like we have a montage, right? We see the growing up montage of this baby dragon,
Aw.
and then the police come.
and the
Aw,
growing
yeah,
up
there's,
montage of Barney.
Yeah, it's like Barney grows up a bit and he trains the dragon, teaches it to sit and do all the things. He's following the instructions for
I
how
knit
to
little
teach it commands.
booties. I knit little
Aw.
booties for it. It has little booties.
It sets them on fire and you have to make new ones every week.
Yeah,
Mhm.
pretty much. I like it.
At one part of the montage is me running around panicking while my hair's on fire.
It'll grow back. It'll grow back.
He did it on purpose.
Then there's a knock on the door. We're
I'll
here
get the
for
door.
I open
the
it.
dragon.
What was that? I can't
We're
hear
here for
you.
your dragon.
You're here for our wagon? We don't have a wagon.
Dragon.
Oh, is it that time already?
Of course, it has been 1 year since the hatching.
Can't we just keep it another week?
I'm so sorry.
Barney
but
and the
remember-
dragon have come together, and now he's named it Mr. Fluffy's, and I think that it just... It's
While I
making the
understand-
household more, you know.
Your sadness. While I understand that you are experiencing this feeling known as sadness, remember, you must do your part to protect us from the unfathomable.
Right, right.
She opens the door and waddles away.
Barney, bring Mr. Fluffles down.
Barney's hiding in his room.
Uh-oh.
It's got Hook and the dragon.
She unlocks the door and opens it for you.
Shh, don't say anything. If I feed you, will you not make any noise? I feed it some food.
Just like baby bird keeps its mouth open.
I unlock the door because there's like a lock on the outside, and I open the door for the police officer to go in.
I step on in. I like, yeah, so whenever you're ready, just bring it down. Like, show the cage.
I continue hiding up in my room.
Yeah, I was saying I was opening his door, like the kid's
his bedroom door, and they're
Yeah.
like, excuse me, we're here for your dragon.
If I hear them coming upstairs, I'm like, no, that's not. I don't want them to take you away. I'm gonna go for a window.
Oh no. Yeah, they're gonna just get. I mean, the this is Officer Jenkins. She just walks up the stairs, but she's a halfling, so it takes her more time.
I go for a window. I open it. I'm like, remember the flying lessons? I know it says you can't fly yet, but if you flap really hard.
She just pushed the dragon out the window.
No, I sit on the perch and I'm like, I start making like flapping arm motions. I'm like, you gotta flap. Remember, I was teaching you. The scroll said I wasn't supposed to.
Flaps its arms, but not its wings.
Scroll said I wasn't supposed to, but I taught you. Remember, you have to flap. I gave you snacks.
Does the dragon fly away? I mean, that's up to you to decide.
I think it probably doesn't because that's part of the idea is that they're grabbed before they can fly.
Cool.
So then they come in and the dragon's still on the perch like, I will just fall if I let go. I'm gonna grab it and take it away.
The police take it. And then we flash forward to the scene where Jenkins delivers the dragon
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
to Gnarls.
And if we take a look at the family after, they're like sapped of their happiness,
Mhm.
right?
Oh,
they put all
yeah.
their love into the dragon egg, and now it's gone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Granny
Take
Granny
that.
no longer is like sewing or knitting anything. She's just sitting there.
Like just like
In-
them in the darkness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The house, there's spider webs everywhere.
I'm hugging a pillow because there's no dragon there.
But you made it like scaly somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, I tried to
Made
teach
it
him
out
how
of
to
sequins.
fly, but it didn't work. He couldn't do it.
It's okay.
Why did they take them away?
It's to protect us, young Barnaby.
You muted Lauren. Oh no.
We lost her.
Am I still muted? Yeah.
Oh,
you're
there you
good
are.
now.
That
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
was weird.
Oh, my computer just decided not to listen to my microphone for a moment. It's raining outside. Sad music.
And I think that's the end of that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool, that answered the question. What's it like?
I guess in a sentence, what is it like to raise a baby dragon?
Sad.
Yeah, really happy.
Really
then
happy and then
sad.
real sad.
Okay. And I think that brings us to the established order segment. And I think seeing as it's like almost the break, should we take it there and then
Yeah,
go into that?
we can totally do
That
that.
makes sense.
Alrighty. We are going to take a roughly about 8-minute break. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Thank you to our supporter Jofu for supporting this episode. I know it's not a Shadow of Doswell, but hopefully y'all are enjoying this. We are playing Rise and Fall, which is a Seven Wonders game. We've played a couple of the other ones, so definitely go check out those as well. And we'll be right back after this little break. Enjoy the fan art. We love the fan art. Thank you so much for all. everyone, welcome back to part 2 of Rise and Fall. We are joined by this wonderful cast, as you can see them all here. We want to just do a quick announcement. Thank you so much to Jofu for supporting this episode. We have merch now, so definitely go check it out, designedbyhumans.com/roll for it. And there's a whole slew of awesome other things on our Patreon, so definitely go check that out. And if you're enjoying the show, supporting us via Patreon or Twitch here, and you can get some emotes, is always helpful. And if you can't support us in a monetary means, you can always just follow us right here on Twitch or on any of our other social platforms, which I think are all listed there with little buttons. And I think that's kind of it, so we're going to toss it back to Josh to take us along this journey.
Welcome to the established order. In this phase, we will explore what everyday life looks like while the regime is well established. We've explored that a little bit with the daily life of what it's like to raise an egg, but some people will be obediently following the paths, as shown, but others will be finding overt or covert ways to exert their independence. Others might be taking advantage of new opportunities to help or hurt the people around them. In this phase, we will ask questions to explore the established order. And I would like to know if anyone has a question they want to know about this world and how this dastardly dragon-based economy works. And also, there's no art, so you can't even draw pictures of happy dragons.
There is art. It is related to dragons, so you can make dragon art.
It's sanctioned, right? Like
Yeah.
what is
Yeah.
allowed. Oh,
There's just a lot of sad dragon art.
I want to know, like, what's the process for getting permission to make something like art? Like, how does someone make art now?
Oh, there's got to be bureaucracy here.
Yeah, this is super bureaucracy. Like, I want us to see the bureaucracy, and I feel like we know that it revolves around art, right? Because that's a thing that you have to get permission to do. So I want to know what does it look like to make art in this world? And I feel like I want to see. I think this is a schemer and the philanthropist, but I think these are different characters, right? This is like an actual bureaucrat and like an
Yeah, I think that's perfect, and they're two
I
different.
need a
characters
pile of
for sure.
papers.
Yeah. Like I just want to know, like, what's the process look like? How do you determine if art is allowed?
Have either of you watched the new Dr. Seuss show series?
No.
All right. Well, there's a new Dr.
No?
Seuss show series on Netflix,
Oh.
and well, it's not new. It's newish. And one of the things is he's trying to, like, he's an inventor. So at the beginning, like, you see him trying to, like, propose his invention to this council, and that's what it's reminding me of. It's cute.
Yeah, so that's where my mind was. I was thinking that my philanthropist this time around could be someone that has organized some sort of artists commune or something, and is trying to, like, set it up and find ways for them to do their thing. So this is actually probably a nice nice philanthropist called Phil. Anthropist.
No, is it Phil and his wife Anne? And their last name Thropist?
Oh dear.
Okay, philanthropist, husband of Anne. Anne's the artist, obviously. And Phil is going to be a fairy, a spriggan, tiny little flappy fairy wings, like constantly.
Bill the Fairy.
Okay, I'm using the name generator in the book because we're running out of names.
Oh yeah.
And I've discovered that exists.
See, this is why you patrons need to put out more names, because every now and again we're going to churn through them.
Okay, I'm Emmerich.
It's not only
Ahern.
just putting names, it's putting names that are useful for scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, some of the names, like Lady or Sir Argle the Bargle, is going to be really hard to put in anything. But it actually works great for this.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how you spell bureaucrat. There it is. Fancy English word.
I like watching you guys type though. It's amusing.
Where are we, Bentham?
Ooh.
Is this
we're in
kind
the
of
we're in the Department of Art, so yeah.
the art? There's
we're in
little
the-
strings with things hanging off them by pegs all
Oh,
around the art
there's loads
department.
there's loads of felt boards with approved art stapled to them.
Yeah.
And thumbtacked. Yeah, nailed it. And then there's lots of there's just lines and lines of desks with stuffy looking people in suits sat at them with piles of paperwork and bins for art to be chucked in to be reviewed.
Yes, the art bins.
Yeah, you put your art in like a plastic plastic sealable thing, and then with like a label on it saying like classifying
Coursework.
type of art, like featured content, and then it's all just sorted and transferred through.
Phil flaps up to your desk and is like, so as I was saying, I'm looking to get state funding for an art program, a movie house. My wife Anne, she is quite the star. She
All right,
knows.
take a seat.
I'd rather fly.
Sorry.
I'd rather fly. I don't need the seat. I'll sit down.
Okay. So you said movie theater. Let's see regulations.
Yes, well, and
movie
the
theaters, yes.
materials for making it, and we have a whole crew, and they're just dying to get started. We just need money for the reels. It's there's this great idea about a grand hero. We've got a whole story about there's a really nice romantic subplot, and it's like one of them new trains. It's like a heist for dragon eggs, and like people are.
A heist for dragon egg. I mean, how?
Yeah.
Who's stealing these eggs and from whom?
Well, the hero needs to steal the eggs because everyone loves these eggs, right? So they're being taken away by the villains from the city of Bargle. The Bargles. The Bargles are stealing the eggs.
Ah. All right.
And the hero needs to find and free the eggs for the
Rescue
kids.
them, return them to the city to get them to the families. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
This might work.
And then there's this whole twist where it's like, boom, the dragons escape, and they're like flying around, and we got this pyrotechnics guy who is really. You're making a lot of sounds.
There might be some problems there. It's within our regulations for art depicting dragons. We like to avoid them flying. See, they're not meant to.
That's what they do in the
fairy They're supposed to stay with
tale.
their families. What media again was that you're referring to?
Film.
There shouldn't be any depictions of flying dragons that I'm aware of in current.
But
media,
we already
perhaps.
have the puppets.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
What?
If
Why?
we, if we skip
what's wrong?
It's part of the regulations. Dragons, they're meant to remain with their families. We discourage families from teaching the dragons to fly because, of course, if they fly, they might fly away, and then they don't have the protection, and we've lost a valuable dragon. So we like to avoid depicting the dragons flying in case it gives people ideas.
Ideas about what? That's what my people say in the fairy stories. We tell of the tales of the flying dragons.
Flying dragons are. It's.
I mean,
It's
they don't
best to
stop
avoid.
breathing fire.
The fire
they do
breathing
that
is
all on their
alright.
own,
The
and so they do the
fire
flying
breathing-
all on their own. It's just part of the story. I don't see
Fire
what your
breathing
problem is.
is an improved part of dragon-based media that is allowed, especially when against enemies. You're okay with the plot idea. We do currently allow media where the Borgles are portrayed as enemies, so that's okay.
Allowed?
Allowed to. Well, they caused us some trouble in the past, so it's okay to portray them as, It's better than having people within the city be a part of the thing, obviously. Well, except when it comes to if you want to portray rebels, but we generally avoid that anyway, just because that gives people ideas.
Ideas.
Yes, well, the purpose of the media is, of course, to encourage people to look after their dragons, and that's the message you're sending, right? The dragons are important and need to be protected and looked after because they are vital to our society. They have to be rescued.
I was thinking of naming it "How to Train Your Dragon,"
Now, you'd have
and
to
then
be
there would be a
careful with
bunch
that
of
because
sequels.
that's implying instructional, which that's within our purview. That's in-house things. When it comes to giving dragons instruction, that's we don't like to give that to other people. They might say the wrong thing, give the wrong impression about how you meant to use a dragon.
Of course. Well, I have the forms here. I've signed them in triplicate, and dug them out of the peat recently. So, if you could just put your stamp on them, then the whole production is ready to go.
It's not as simple as putting a stamp on it. If you leave it with us, we'll read it through, make the necessary edits, and then if it's workable, after that we'll give it back to you, and you're clear for production, supervised, of course.
That's the only copy of the script we have.
Well, really, you should be. That's probably for the best. And when we get it back to you, it'll be ready for production.
Excellent. I'm so happy.
All right, if you give us your contact details, we'll tell you when the approval process is done. And I put the script on a very large pile of script.
Could you tell me where your art supplies are? I would like to see the things I'm going to be using.
Well, yes, we can. I can organize for you a tour of the equipment areas, the sets and things.
Thank you. I'm very excited about this production.
Oh yes, it sounds like it'll be very good once the changes have been made. We'll remove the flying and the training dragons part, and it sounds like it'll be good. Of course, I haven't read it yet, but take your word for it.
It is most of the movie, but yeah, sure, of course. We'll improv it.
That's once we've got you back the approved script.
I feel like we can end this bureaucratic nightmare. I love it. Well, that was fun.
That was fun.
Can't show them flying, it'll give people ideas.
Exactly. No, you can't show them anything. It'll give people ideas.
People can have ideas.
Probably goes better than most movie submissions. It's like, oh good, so the
8 to 10 years later it's made. Probably. And it's
I
like a
have
totally different
feeling
movie
that
than what was intended.
Yeah, it's just a picture about a boy and his dragon, and the boy gives away the dragon at the end. It's like Old Yeller, except way sadder.
It's like it shows like it does like a 1 year later, and it's the boy happily giving the dragon to the to the state. Glad to do my part. Now it's time for you to go help others, dragon friend.
Dragon friends.
Oh no.
Bentham's like, oh no.
This guy Phil definitely has a Free Willy-esque idea brewing in his head.
Yeah, and it's all gonna be destroyed.
I was waiting for like the center, like the chair that they're sitting on in the center, just to open up and like he just gets fed
A
sharks
pit.
or something. Yeah.
I was expecting at least a moment of like, I'll refer you to my supervisor.
No, I've had that several times already, and it just get pushed.
It's like, oh yeah,
to
one
the
of my
side.
underlings sent you to me. Ugh, I hate him.
Oh no. All right. What's
Okay.
next?
Who's got a question?
So what these questions are about, like how the city works.
Yeah, what's life
Yeah.
like in the
What's
height
life
of the
like?
regime or the
What is the established order of things? There are examples, which I think.
Yeah, I saw those.
I have an idea,
Ooh, okay.
which is got to try and figure out how to phrase it. I guess what happens to people that don't train their dragon properly, or yeah. I
What
think-
happens to delinquents?
Yeah, what we got? We got bureaucracy, dragons, unfathomable. Oh, we could do. No, I'm just gonna stick with the thing. Yeah,
no, it's a good thing. I
the
think
first thing. What happens to people who don't train their dragons properly?
Don't take care of the dragon.
Yeah,
Because you're
take
not
care of
supposed to
the
train
dragons.
your dragons.
oh, you train them.
Well, you're supposed to train them according to the proper government-approved training schedule.
Regime.
Mm-hmm. And I think it would be good to have a schemer and a leader in this.
Okay.
Yeah, they're talking about it.
Okay.
Maybe one of you is the one who hasn't, like, broke the law essentially in some sense.
Ooh.
Didn't do it properly. I don't know.
I think if you want that, then it would be like the philanthropist, maybe.
But it's Josh's question.
I know.
It's my question. I don't want to be able to answer this because I have very different ideas of. I have no idea about what.
I guess
happens to
schemer,
people,
you
which
could
is why I'm
be
asking,
the
I
one
guess.
then. Send them.
Do you want me to be the one with the dragon?
Yeah, that makes sense then.
Oh. I'm wondering, do I bring back Barnabas?
And I think I'm
Wait,
gonna bring
Oscar?
back General Yarf of Yagyard because it makes sense that he would be the one.
I got straight to the top.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right. Maybe not. It would be like a police officer or something that would have to.
Oh no, I can make
Well, I
I
mean,
can
they
make
were
it
the
work with the
soldiers.
general. I've got an idea that could work with the general.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, what's your
It's that I am Barnabas Niles, but this time this is like 10 years later.
when he's older, the
Yeah,
rebel?
he's now a dad. He was assigned another dragon. This time it went missing.
Okay.
They came to collect it, it wasn't there. Or they came for like their regular checkup and the dragon wasn't there.
Okay. The dragon wasn't there, and they've assigned someone to like stay at your post. Maybe it's Barf. And
Well, if the dragon's gone, I think I'm being dragged in front of you.
yeah, no, Yarf has come with there's like an army, and they're like searching your premises. Basically, like they're just looking at everything in your area and in your neighborhood. And he comes into the room, and you're kind of like sitting alone in the room. He's like,
He's cuffed.
All right. Give it to me again. Your perspective, I've heard it from all of my generals.
I told him I looked like we got the egg. We looked after it. Polished it every day and all that stuff. Then it hatched, and we did all the training. We did all the proper feeding. We bought all the correct things for it. And
Fast forward,
use
I
it
don't
all
have
you can see.
all the time in the day.
Empty containers.
How did it go missing?
Well, it was around about 11 months old, and it flew away.
Dragons don't fly.
This one did.
They don't.
he like leans in really close to you, and he's like,
They don't.
and you smell his breath. It smells disgusting.
So
They have wings.
the only way they could learn how to fly is if someone taught them. Did you
How am I
teach them?
supposed to teach a dragon how to fly? I don't have wings.
Are you lying? Because he's probably gonna like. He's looking in your eyes to see if you're lying.
Oh, he's lying completely. Yeah.
He grabs like
We
the
might
light
just pick
bulb
up
and
on it.
shines it
Yeah,
down
yeah.
on you.
Oh no, you definitely pick up on it. Like he's saying the story, and we both know it's complete crap.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
He
that's how
takes
it
the
works.
light bulb and he shines it down on you, and he's like, "You feel that heat? The heat of a dragon on your ass. You don't tell me what happened here."
One day it was here. Yeah, it was gone. It was in an upstairs room. The window was
Take
open.
him in. Take one of his knees while you're at it too. Yeah, and they're gonna like break
no.
your knee, and then we drag you to the we drag you in.
All
And I
right.
think you fast forward to you like in like kind of a dungeon-esque type of thing. And there's like a nice person there, I think, that's just like comes in, offers you a tray of food. And she's like a little fairy. She's like,
I'm sorry
it's one
what
of the
they did
fairies.
to your leg there. Here, take this. It's really tasty.
I guess it'll heal eventually. Thank
Well,
you. He like
sometimes it
warily
heals and
nibbles on the food. Does it
sometimes it
taste
heals.
okay?
And sometimes it doesn't.
it tastes delicious. They probably like starved you for a while.
He nibbles in case he starts feeling funny.
Now, I would hate to see them have to do this to you again. You know, hurting your other leg. You only got one now. Why don't you just tell us, what you did with the dragon?
I looked after it, and then it left.
I'm sure you did, and I'm sure it did. But I think that there's a story in between there that you just haven't shared with everyone yet. We're gonna find out what that is, aren't we?
And scene?
Sure.
Fade out on that one.
I think there's maybe one more thing he says is like, either way, whatever happened to it, you're never gonna find it now.
The chair opens up and he goes
And then,
into
yeah,
a pile of sharks.
Pull the lever.
Pull the lever.
Bentham, what actually happened? Do you have an idea of what actually happened? Whether or not you tell the story during this, what actually happened?
Ooh, what actually happened to the dragon?
He I
Curious
think
to know.
he made some friends after the first dragon incident, and was like, I'm not letting them take one again. Then when he got assigned one, he did a
Could
bit
it-
of sneaking around, handed it off, and
Could it be
made sure
that-
he didn't know where it was going.
Oh, could it be that you made friends with the Bargles?
Oh yeah, maybe he got some contacts outside the city. Yeah, I think at some point there was a secret like meeting in an alley where he like hands over a shrouded box or something. And it's like, I don't care what
yeah.
you do with it, just make sure it's okay. I don't know what they're doing to them, but it's not good.
They hand you like a shell that you can use to call them back. And that's how you use that's what you use to communicate with them.
Nice. Keeps that hidden somewhere. Oh, but then when they come to his door, he's like, well, nuts, and chucks it out the window and smashes it before they find it.
Nice. It's like a burner phone except for it's a shell. You just
Yep. All they find is some like fragments of shell in a gutter nearby his house. Maybe they don't think anything of it.
I love it. That was fun.
Okay.
I guess I need to add like this creepy fairy to my list.
Oh yeah. Creepy fairy. Scared me. Cool. Who's got a question? Bentham and Maggie haven't gone? Is that it?
Yeah, we still need to come
Yeah.
up with questions.
Yeah, on page 89. There are examples.
Do you have one, Bentham? I asked a lot of other questions, so that's
I
why.
want to look into the otherworldly threat, whatever it is. Because I think the question is, if we want to work this out, what's keeping it in check? And then for people to address that, leader and warrior makes sense.
Okay.
All right. So keeping the unfathomable into check. I think I'm gonna be the general again. That makes sense, right? Do Yarf and Barf come back?
Yes, I'm on board. Let's bring back Yarf and Barf. I think. Oh, I like this. So we are Yarf and Barf. We're like stationed at an outpost, I think, of some kind, like outside. We're on guard duty, and it's been a normal evening. And Yarf just sort of Barf, I should say, I'm Barf. He like crosses his arms and like sits there. He's like, it's been quiet for years now.
Yarf has his like hands behind his back, like, you know, kind of like in a military pose, and is like,
Well, I like it better when it's quiet.
I mean, I'm not saying I particularly relish the idea of fighting undefeatable enemies, but we haven't had a single attack since we raided all those dragon egg hordes.
Well, that means our forces are working properly then. Dragon
But we
Eggs
haven't
doing their
done
thing.
anything. We haven't done any fighting. We haven't even bonked someone on the head with a stick. The most injuries I've done are knocking kneecaps and.
Hey, don't knock kneecaps. It's fun.
But there hasn't even been an attack. What are the dragons doing? I thought we were raising.
We don't question.
Army.
We just do our duty. You know how this goes, Barf.
But we've got no new weapons.
Well,
Nothing.
Creators,
like
they
the
have their new
unfathomable-
process that they have to go through, and it's time consuming.
Sometimes I wonder if maybe someone made a deal with the unfathomable.
What kind of deal would they make? They ain't people that you can make deals with. Have you seen the depictions of them? They
That's
creature.
fair.
I don't
You're
think
right,
those
you're right.
creatures
I'm
have
stupid.
brains.
I'm just an orc. What do I know? What do I know? It just seems like there's something this powerful would have fought, and we would have had to fight back with our dragons. Or we'd seen something, but all we've done is just stood here and watched the darkness.
I like it.
It just makes me uncomfortable.
Well, sometimes it's good to feel uncomfortable.
But this isn't like itchy underwear uncomfortable. This is like pit of dread in the bottom of my stomach uncomfortable, and I can't fight anyone over it.
Well, our job is to make sure that everyone keeps their eggs. And we've been doing our job. And I think because we've been doing our job, they ain't been able to attack us. I
guess.
say, if we keep doing our job, then we should retire and not have to worry about any of that. Think about what
Yeah.
your mom would think, Barf. She lost you in a battle against one of those unfathomables.
She would be real sad. It just, and maybe it's probably what I'm thinking is definitely crazy talk. Maybe it wouldn't make sense that our glorious Emperor Skull would have created some sort of deal with these unfathomables to not have it attack us in exchange for providing it something else that it might want. But that doesn't seem like the real reason. It's probably just that they're scared of baby dragons.
All hail Skull, keeping
All
us
hail
safe.
Skull.
If he
Straight
didn't
up.
think about this dragon egg thing, think of where we'd be right now.
It's really amazing that he knew exactly how to stall this threat. He's so clever and
Very
intelligent.
clever. Most clever. That's why he's the emperor.
That is why he is the emperor.
Can you imagine if I was the emperor?
What I mean, that'd be even worse.
Hey.
No, I wasn't imagining it. Yes, sir. I'm gonna go watch, sir. And he just like walks away.
So I think the answer is that they don't really do anything. They just keep people doing their egg thing.
I think it's also that like the I think the skull is feeding the unfathomable.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is. That's the deal. The deal is that I will give you energy.
Yeah, using the crystal.
Yeah, the crystal is what it is, but we don't like the people protecting the people don't know. They just think like, oh, if we keep people protecting their eggs, then clearly that's why there's no one coming for us because we're doing our job so well that nothing bad could ever happen, ever.
Look what happened to the Burgles when they didn't take eggs.
Yeah, they were destroyed, probably by the Unfathomable.
I like to imagine that the Bargles now live on turtles, like giant sea turtles.
Yeah, like they're now just a rebel civilization that's nomadic.
Like a nomadic, like sea turtle village now.
That's how they keep safe from the threat.
So, Maggie,
So
do
they
you have another
revolt.
Maggie, do you have a question? Because I kind of have one if we don't.
Yeah. I mean, I have a few questions. I was just trying to I asked a lot of questions last section.
That's all right.
Are there any organizations plotting against the military? Like, what's like the rebel faction of this order, right? Order. Are there any secret societies or things of that sort that are like coming up? Like, is there a secret art society, or is there like a secret rebel society, like kind of where Bentham's character would come into place, that kind of thing? We could take it either of those ways. So I don't know. I think we already did an art thing.
Bentham and the schemer and the philanthropist for this. Like,
ooh, yeah, both of them. Yeah, let's have them both in that scene. I like that idea.
I could go back to
oh, like how like speakeasies were like became a thing because of the prohibition. Maybe there's something similar to that in this world. Yeah.
So people just go underground in a pub and just down a pint of paint.
Yeah.
It's underground art galleries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's an underground theater.
Yes.
Underground theater, yes. This speaks to my theater nerd heart. I'm in. Let's do it. Go for it.
Okay. What I'm thinking is, like, did Niles make it out, or is he dead? And I'm a Bargle rebel.
Oh, I think you might have to be a Bargle rebel.
Do you want to be a rebel, or do you want to be someone busting down the doors of this illegal theater?
Oh, that's fun.
That's true. You could do that too.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I need to actually write. What was the question?
The question was, are there any secret societies, basically?
Yeah, like how are people resisting?
Yeah,
the oppression of the government.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then fill it in later. Okay. So, Bentham, who are you playing? Because I'm Phil the fairy, which is very difficult to say. Phil the fairy.
Just checking the. I think I'll use the book for names again. So I will be.
Wanted, Beatnik the Goblin, crime, slam poetry. I love that.
I can totally help with names if you need names. What's the character that you're trying?
Gideon, because that's an option. It's gonna be something Gideon.
Okay.
Evert Gideon. The art police.
It needs to be something like the what I can't remember what book it's from, but the firemen, the ones that instead of going and putting out fires, they go out and set fire to art. You can be a fireman.
I haven't heard of it, but yes, that basically.
Talking about Fahrenheit 451.
That's it.
Ah.
Phil and Gideon. at the underground theater. Okay. So you see Phil behind the bar at a it's kind of grimy pub. It's not particularly nice, and there's clearly a door right next to where the bar kind of curves around into a corner, and he's just kind of stood there in the corner, blocking the way and like counting money.
And like this is the front, and all looks like normal and just
It
about
looks like
reputable.
a normal sleazy bar.
Do you want me to bash the door down? You ready?
Go on then. You do you.
All right, yeah. There's I mean, I imagine that we're not that subtle, so you probably get a guy run like a guy walk through the door, and the moment the door shut, like run up to you, like, we gotta get out of here. They're coming.
Who? Oh, damn it. Okay.
The police are onto us.
No! Shoves all the cash into a tin, stuffs it underneath the bar, and like pulls over a curtain over the door.
Yeah, then you hear the sound of like boots on cobbles.
Yeah, the door gets smashed in. Phil doesn't manage to escape, and he's just like, I'm sorry, officer. I don't know what you're here for, but
Cover the exits.
I
yell to my guys as they all like fan around.
What do you want, sir?
You're under arrest. We're taking you in for questioning, but first, I want to see the whole place.
This is it. It's just one floor.
Oh, is it now? Let's have a look. And he starts like making his way around, like pressing on walls and stuff. And I'm like, search everything, floor, ceiling, whatever.
And they just rifle through, and eventually someone tears down the curtain, and there's the door. It looks locked, and they rattle it, and they can't get in.
I just point at a guy and point at the door, and someone comes and kicks it.
Don't go in there. Wait, officer.
I think in response to that, I look over like, seriously?
It's dangerous. And I go behind the bar and I take out the tin. It's like, please, just leave us alone. This I don't suppose this could convince you. Opens the tin. There's just a wad of money.
Snatch the tin off. Look in. Kick the door down, and I handed the tin back.
No!
It's like there was like a number of beats where he looks in the tin, like you can see his eyes moving, trying to work out how much is in there. And he's like, "My paycheck's bigger. Let's go."
Yeah, and
they kick down the door.
They kick down the door, like it stairs all the way down, and I guess you like cuff me and lead me down into there, and I'm just like crying and stuff. And you go in, and there's another black curtain. You pull that aside, and there's a row of chairs, and then a very poorly painted a black stage with the archway that is slightly more ornate. It's got a dragon kind of carved arching over, and it's got big flying flapping wings on it.
It's like an adult dragon.
Yeah.
That's straight away. You're not allowed that.
And
no dragons are allowed to be more than a year old in media.
No, it's fully sanctioned. Everything was. I got the script back, and there's just a flickering black and white or sepia tone picture of this train, and there's like a man on a horse galloping next to it, and there's like pictures of eggs on the train as it steams by.
I'm just like, find me those scripts.
Sure. And I hand you a first copy of the script.
Oh no. So this is before edits.
This is the edited one, the officially
Okay, the
sanctioned
edited
version.
Yeah, and he just like giving orders to his guys, like turn the place over, everything you find, props, whatever, costumes.
I'm so
Bring it all
sorry,
in.
Han.
Oh. He starts like flipping through the script, and he sees like the big like the black like bars over bits that aren't allowed, and then the replacements in red text, and he's like, well, this all seems to be in order. Is this a script you were using?
Yes. It's the least convincing yes you have ever heard.
It's like, hold on, like, bring the guy in. Someone walks in, escorted by a guard. You recognize him as a previous attendee of a viewing.
I knew you had shifty eyes. What's wrong with you? This is a place for art.
Yeah, I thought you might recognize him.
Here. There's no art. There's only the love of dragons. You apparently say like that.
He's like, I thought you might recognize him. He was at one of your viewings. He said that you didn't quite stay on piece.
Just because it's not officially sanctioned doesn't mean there's love poured into it. There's passion. We worked for months on this.
Only give your love to the dragons, not
Break his kneecaps.
No, I don't need them. I fly.
Break the wings while you're at
Take
it.
him away, loot the place, grab it all, impound it.
You won't stop the Dragon Wing Society. Fuck you. Down with the system.
And he's like, oh yeah, I've heard it all. Take him away.
Yeah.
Like there's like a costume of a winged dragon. He just like knocks it over.
Oh yeah, there's the puppet, and it's big and he's got big wings and they flap.
Someone's like, Dunkelzahn shall rise again. This is the before the Shadowrun world.
Yeah, you will never stop the Seda Krupp rebellion. The plucky underdogs.
After the fall, it's just gonna be Shadowrun. Would not have made it any better.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think that's where it ends as Phil is dragged away.
Mm-hmm.
My guy just sits there like, job well done. More suppressed populace. Excellent.
But your sense of satisfaction isn't truly satisfying. You're just like, good.
He's like,
Anger and sadness is the only emotions we have now.
I have done my job.
And then you get a nice bureaucratic tick at the bottom of your paperwork.
I get one mark further towards a promotion.
God, what's the name of this rebellion?
I think you called it the Dragon Wing Society. The Dragon Wing Society.
Like, yeah, the winged dragons or something like that.
Dragon Wing Society, I think is what you said.
Like you could call it the Free Dragons or something. It's got to be about dragons. This is the ultimate downfall of the society. Is they had this whole plot around the dragons and this whole idea, but they didn't realize that just a small portion of the populace was being galvanized by losing these dragons.
They didn't think it through.
They didn't think
Okay.
it through.
I feel like we have properly explored the society in full swing. So, I think we should move to the what's it called? Fall phase.
The Ripperonis.
Or if you're in England, the autumn phase. In which we discover how our dystopia was brought down. Its destruction might lie in the people at the top of the hierarchy, or in the mass of ordinary people, or in some force from outside, as unfathomable as that may be. There might be a deliberate coup, a slow disintegration, or a mistake which suddenly changes everything. In this phase, we will ask questions which should explore the fall of our dystopia. So, it exactly mirrors the other two ways we've organized it so far. So does anyone have a question about how this dystopian regime begins to fall apart?
So many questions.
Right.
You can... I think I have a question, which is, how does Skull push people too far? In which, probably Skull, maybe someone else, we need, I don't know, I think probably the schemer, probably the warrior, Lauren, in which either both of you or one of you pushes people too far, or one pushes the other too far.
Has an idea.
Yeah, go for it. Do you think
All
of
right, so-
Jenkins?
Yeah, which one's Jenkins?
Jenkins
losing
my
track.
little halfling, the halfling police chief.
Right, yes. Yeah, that works. That's great. I can do that. Yeah, and I've got to be Skull. Emperor Skull now.
Emperor Skull. Not
Process is
quite Lord
complete.
Emperor yet, but you know.
You'll give yourself a promotion eventually.
The Republic has been reorganized.
Where are you? Set the scene for us.
This is like he's got a throne room now. Forget his office. He's got a throne.
You just like knock out a bunch of the walls behind his office.
Like his seat is in the same place. He just removed all the surrounding rooms.
Yeah.
All the little
Ceilings.
office dividers, they're gone. They're gone now.
It's like, I'll show all those other asshole senators who thought they were better than me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is Jenkins has been called in, and is there in the throne room. There's like some guards there and nobody else. And I think it opens with Skull going, "Missing? What do you mean a dragon is missing? How do you lose a dragon?"
Well, it turns out sometimes they learn how to fly.
They don't learn to fly, that's the point!
Emperor Skull. I assume I'm Jenkins.
Yeah.
Emperor Skull. I understand that you and I maybe do not fully grasp the concept of love. But it turns out that many of your citizens still do. And some of them love these dragons too much.
But that was the point, then we just give them more dragons to get all the love.
Have you ever had a
I mean, I don't know what I'm
puppy
talking
as
about.
a child?
What was that?
Did you ever have a puppy?
No.
Ah. You see, many humans or many creatures, we've established 0 humans in this world.
Oh, yeah,
Many
that's good. There are
creatures
no humans.
grow attached to things. They maintain a bond. To remove that source of their bond, some of them are in disagreement with that.
That wasn't how it was supposed to work. They were supposed to have their spirits broken by losing the dragons and knowing that it had to be done.
And that has been incredibly effective for many, but we have not seen any evidence of the unfathomable. Perhaps a demonstration that it is still a threat will be necessary for people to understand that the dragons must continue to be given in order for the unfathomable to remain not a threat.
Yes,
That might help
makes sense.
those who are still attached break their attachments.
Yes, it's been so long since they've witnessed the danger, they're forgetting how important it is.
Exactly. They think it's a fairy tale, a story that we tell people to keep them scared. They need to feel scared, not just sad.
Of course, fear is the ultimate thing to keep people in line. I've forgotten that in all this time. I've been so distracted with other things, like suppressing art, damn it.
Now, the suppressing of art has been incredibly effective. The dampening and
definitely.
destruction of people's spirits has certainly prevented a significant amount of the public from resisting us. But those few holdouts, they need to know that the Unfathomable will destroy us if we do not continue to protect them through whatever means necessary.
Yes, then I think I have a plan in mind. I think I know how to make people understand. And then we won't see any more people losing dragons.
Exactly. And those who do lose dragons, perhaps they will taste firsthand what not being protected feels like. I'll round up some volunteers for you, Emperor.
Excellent. I think I can arrange the rest. And then he takes hold of the staff that he has of his office now, which has this
Not
weird looking.
totally not ominous staff of goodness.
It's got a weird looking artifact on top of it. It glows sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk about it. You'll be arrested.
Yeah. Speaking of arresting, the officer, Police Chief Jenkins, leaves and begins rounding up some people who have been, dissidents. Black bags some people. Brings them
Barnabas is
around.
among them.
What have I done? I didn't lose the dragon, honest.
Mm-hmm. Sure you didn't. It's fine. You'll understand what it's like to not have the protection of the great Emperor Skull.
Oh, hell, Skull?
Too late for you.
I don't know what happens.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Do you talk to this artifact? Like, what do we see when Jenkins leaves?
I think it's that like as you're turning away, he's got a hand like over the artifact, like making like gestures, and you're like you've learned not to question it, or you'll get in trouble. Like one of your underlings questioned it once, you don't see them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there is an incident. I think you're ordered to like round some people up on the edge of the city, some people that Skull doesn't like. And then like
hordes of unfathomable monsters come and murder them all.
Yeah, it descends upon it. There's an attack. Something like an army of somethings flows over the terrain like an ocean, and yeah, like a few people who are just so happen to be on the very outskirts of this. Maybe they're like they're outside the city limits at the time.
So weird. They
Yeah,
must have been on
people outside the limits.
So
I think, and amongst the group, I think is Barnabas Niles, who's like in chains and amongst them, and is like, doesn't matter, the damage is done. And then this flows over all of them, and then comes up to the city and seems to hit an invisible shield that no one can see, and bounce off it, and then retreat away again. And then there's a grand speech that Skull makes about how the power of the dragons protected them from the terror, and those who were destroyed on the outskirts of the city had abandoned their dragon, and if they just had their dragon with them, they would have been okay.
Nice. I think that's a perfect. My question is a perfect follow up to this, which is, how do the people, like the civilians, react?
So, important note for chat: the army seemed to bounce off a shield that no one can see.
What is the reaction of the people, the civilians of Skull's city? And I think that it makes a lot of sense to have the philanthropist archetype for sure. And I actually would love to see a warrior, because like Barf also was questioning what has happened, right? And now he's gotten to see the creatures. First time they've seen him.
I like it.
Yeah, so I think that's who I would love to see a scene with. Or maybe you guys are rebelling, you're plotting. I don't know, whatever it might be.
The warrior and who?
The philanthropist.
Philanthropist.
Oh, okay.
You said.
I have an idea then.
Here, I'll
Ah,
type
take
the
it away.
question.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was distracted. Okay, this is going to be a new character, an avatar called Gorman.
Gorman.
Gorman, the halfling.
Gorman?
Gormin.
M-I-N.
Gorman, the halfling, animal handler.
Ooh.
And this will be.
So I want to
believe-
point out we've had no army fairies.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're the warrior.
I played an army fairy. I played an army fairy.
True.
He's playing good cop interrogation.
Oh my god.
It's true.
We've had one.
You could be Anne, wife of Phil, who joins
Aw.
the army of fairies. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right. They were fairies. Yeah.
And
Oh, do the fairies revolt?
I was thinking my character Gorman would be the person that has been taking care of all of these dragons that people have handed off.
Dragon smuggler.
A dragon smuggler.
And so I think we see like a scene in a different underground art gallery surrounded by weird esoteric painting. Like there's like cubist dragons and this small fairy, and you know, elder a little bit on the older side, and she like stands on a table and she's like, the time has come. The time has come. Those who are on the edge of the cities, they were not criminals. They were the only ones that saw the truth, that understood that Emperor Skull is doing nothing but manipulating us for his own means. These dragons, they are innocent in this. We pour our love into them so that we may destroy them. We do not know yet. But there is no way. There is no way we can stand for this. The people must rise. Take to the streets. They can't stop us all. Also, we have dragons.
No, you've got to protect the dragons. And I take a mostly adult dragon. It's like dwarf Gorman. It's like, but they're so pure.
Gorman. Look at its teeth.
Big, beautiful,
Pulls the
healthy
gums
teeth.
up. It breathes fire. They are war machines. We will ride them into battle.
I know, but they've hurt so many dragons already.
Little fairy flies up to the dragon's nose. Do you want to get revenge? Do you want to avenge those who were destroyed by the Emperor and his kind? We will lay waste to the city. We will burn it to the ground.
As long as we save all the eggs of the dragons.
They're durable.
That has to be a priority. It makes these families need to know the truth.
Gorman flies into your face. Gorman,
Ew.
slap.
Ugh.
Get yourself together. Do you want to continue protecting dragons in an underground lair the rest of your life? Just waiting until the moment that you and all of them get caught.
No. They have to be free. They can't fly under the ground.
Exactly. Wasn't one of your loved ones destroyed in the recent attack on by the Unfathomable? Which I think puts on tinfoil hat. I'm confident was caused by Emperor Skull. Spits upon his name.
Emperor Skull does hurt the dragons.
We know this. We need to find the source of that hurt, and we need to destroy it.
Okay, fine. I'll help. Climbs up awkwardly onto dragon. Ride! Everyone, mount one of the dragons!
I think he just like bursts through the ground of the building.
Oh, wait, I have one more question.
Oh, do you?
Wait.
Yes.
hold on. What happens if you're wrong and the Unfathomable Doodah comes and kills us all?
Better to die free than live under the rule of tyranny.
Okay then. Right.
Oh no.
Yeah, let's be clear, we're all gonna die. The Unfathomable will kill us all, but and I believe the dragons like swoop out of the sky and probably descend upon the lab in which the crystal is being charged.
Yeah.
Destroy it.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, the crystal just shatters
Yeah,
and there's a
freeze.
horrible boom and emotions happen, like magical flowy
I don't think we're there yet. Calm down,
sky emotions.
cowboy.
Oh, does this fail? Do they not get to destroy it? Maybe they don't.
We don't
make
know
it.
yet.
But they might destroy the crystal, but does
The
that
crystal
immediately bring
definitely
about
gets
the
destroyed.
end?
Yeah,
But
I think
yeah,
the crystal
it's-
gets.
I still,
It's the
I think
beginning
we
of
still
it,
have,
yeah.
we still
That
have
can
more
be
to
the-
the story.
Yeah. I think the crystal like they shatter the crystal and there's like big horrible booming noises and like
Maybe that
big
should be the
exhalation
question:
of
is
energy and...
what happens with when the crystal is
Ah.
destroyed?
I feel like we need Skull in that one.
Yeah.
I think we need Skull and our dearest philanthropist.
Yeah. Okay. So the next question is,
Wonderful.
what happens
Oh, yeah.
when
Gnarls barely
the
escaped
crystal is
the destruction
destroyed?
of this lab and like singed and smoldering makes his way to the Emperor's throne.
Okay.
So is it going to be
Sure.
Skull and Phil?
No, this is Skull
Gorman?
and
Skull and
Gnarls.
Gnarls.
Gnarls or Gnarls?
Gnarls.
Okay. Skull and Gnarls.
Master, these disgusting giant dragons, they descended upon your crystal. I don't know how we're going to harvest anymore.
Gnarls,
Where
what
can
have
I
you
take
done?
my eggs?
You allowed them to destroy the crystal?
They had giant dragons. What am I supposed to do about that? I tried to absorb them into the crystal, but they weren't just feeling love, they were feeling other things. I think it was revenge.
I knew this dragon thing had gone too far. I needed the power.
What? There are some shards remaining. What would you like to do with them? I don't know if they're useful.
We take the largest one. Attempt to reform a new crystal.
Very well, very
we
well.
can take emergency measures, but I can get. We have to deal with these damn dragons. I can deal with the dragons. I'll have to
Please.
enlist. I will have to enlist assistance, and that assistance may not be the most willing. But if it deals with the dragons, then I can promise that we'll harvest all dragons immediately. That will help tide it over, and then we'll redouble our efforts.
Yes, I will find Jenkins. Please, let me help. What do you wish of me? How can we destroy these dragons? I spent so much time giving these wonderful people their eggs, and now these rebels, scum, have destroyed my hard work.
Yes, they have. As in time, their punishment will come, as may yours if I find that you didn't do everything you could have. But I think initially, I can handle this. I can.
I feel like Skull
Swing
needed
it
to
in
be
our
hugged
favor.
as a child.
Yeah, he did.
I think we've established he doesn't actually know what love is.
No. He's like, what is it? Someone described it to him once, and he's like, "I must harness this.
Yeah, that sounds like an excellent.
I
It
can
makes
use it to
people-
destroy people."
It makes people do things for you? Very helpful.
Excellent. Yeah, I think in front of Gnarls, because he's like, at this point it doesn't matter. He like slams down the staff, and the crystal starts glowing, and he puts his hand to it. And he's like,
Such power.
Speak not of what you witness here.
Yes, my liege.
And then he starts kind of like he speaks some kind of incantation. And he starts speaking into the crystal like, My lord, I must speak to you. Remember I have done much for you in these past years.
Say what?
I require a small assistance from you so that our agreement can continue.
What do you wish of me?
A number of the dragons have broken free. They have gained power they are not meant to wield.
Feed me, Zimar.
No one is meant to know that's my name.
I will take them, but I will require more from you.
We will rebuild the crystal and we shall feed it with more dragons. I will gather all the dragons in all the born dragons in the land and feed them to it as soon as the work is done.
I will need more than dragons.
When it is done, I will make sure to distribute twice as many eggs as before.
I will need more cities. I will need more souls. I am hungry.
There is only so much I can give you at this time, but I'm sure with more time I can make up for this. I've served you well in all this time.
Is Gnarl still there?
Oh yeah, Niles is confused but interested and says, "My lord, if I may,
Gnarls, damn it, you're still here.
We have programs on the outskirts of this city which push the less desirable artists to the edges. If we harvest their dragons first, everyone will be defenseless. And we can redistribute all of the remaining ones. And if that is what you require, the souls of artists I hear are particularly tasty.
I like this one.
I think like a black
Perhaps this is the time
snakes out.
I recoil from it. Perhaps this is the time to make such sacrifices.
We are one of few remaining cities. Our capital must shine the brightest. The Bargles have been destroyed, but the nearby city of Argyle is also vulnerable.
I guess they're twin city.
The dissidents there have been noisy of late. We don't need them, sire. And then,
yes, perhaps that is also a sacrifice we could make.
Niles begins to grow shadowy and tendrils stretch across his elven face.
Oh no.
Please, allow me the honor.
I think that this, is this the kind of reveal of previous? You've maybe been influenced too long around the crystal, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. I'm holding the crystal shard in my hand, and it seeps up my arm.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's the Skull is he was already kind of panicked, and seeing this, he's like, oh no.
And then I think we hear the voice. The voice says,
"Perhaps you should just take him. He seems edible."
and we realize it's not talking to Skull. It's talking.
I remember how much work. I'm now looking between the crystal and Noah's. Remember how much work I've done for you. All this progress. You started from nothing. I raised you to this. Together we have formed a formidable team.
You are jeopardizing it, sire.
This
the
was.
Voice, I do not understand its fathoms, but it calls to me. We must. And I shove the shard into his heart.
Black penis emerges from it, and I think I think Skull turns into one of the abominations. The monster.
Yeah,
where
into the unfathomable. He turns into one of the unfathomable.
The crystal is embedded in him, and this tendril spreading across, and he's like, "I made you."
Gnarls is now a warlock. He has a little unfathomable pet.
Totally a necromancer.
Creepy
Let's be
puppet.
real.
Yeah.
His body.
Come, my minion. We have much work to do.
Yes.
Now I want to know what Gnarls does next.
End scene.
Gnarls, yeah. Just,
Can that be the next
Gnarls.
question?
Yeah. What does Gnarls do now?
Okay, sure. Let's.
I mean, we could pause. We still have the dragons. You know what? I really want to know what happened to Poe.
What happened to Poe?
Oh yeah.
And maybe that's for the denouement, but I almost feel like is there a place for Poe to return?
This could be a time.
the
Poe was
Argyle?
there at the very beginning. Like, surely Poe understands much more about the origins of this creature than anything else.
Okay, so my question is, how do the rebels? I guess we need to know like how that fight goes down, right? Or how does the conflict between the rebels and Gnarls? Like, what does it go down? But I also, or how does it happen? But I also think we need to know, like, who gains power, right? Do the Argyle show up? Do the rebels gain more than just the dragons?
So the question is
I
like,
think there's
how
a
does the
secret
rebellion
to the
versus
dragons.
Gnarls go down?
Oh
Yeah, I think there's a secret to the dragons that means they're the key to victory.
It's the dragon's secret.
So do we want to do the what happened to Poe, or do we want to do how does the rebellion versus Gnarls go down?
I think this example question kind of encapsulates what we're trying to do here, which is what is the decisive moment when revolution is certain,
Yeah,
Or,
I think that makes sense.
or the revolution begins to win, or something like that.
What is the
So
decisive?
who,
Want me
whose
to ask
question is
Yeah,
this?
Quinn, so that Gnarls can. Yeah, I can
Our
ask the question so
question.
Gnarls can be in it if you like.
If you want Gnarls in it, I'm
I mean, I think this is a question for the group.
Yeah.
The decisive moment in the battle, because we have Anne and the dragons. We have Gnarls and the Unfathomable.
I think this one makes sense for Anne and. Would it be Anne and Gnarls in the scene? Anne and Gnarls in the scene, because it's
The
like both
face-off.
sides of the the rebellion or the revolution versus the oppression.
okay.
We get some monologues from both of them coming at each other, and that's when like. So we have like the scene of Anne with her dragon riding fairy army versus the Gnarls, who has just consumed Skull and is thinking that he's going to rally the army. So,
Yep, he's-
it's that moment where you're rallying the army, but to fight, but they turn on you.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gathering abominations from the unfathomable.
And you see like Gnarls with Skull, but you don't really know that it's Skull. You see like one of the Unfathomable like crawling next to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I knew it! I knew it! They were totally working with the Unfathomable the whole time!
You understand nothing.
You're a monster!
I am the Emperor of the world.
That's not how this works. You don't get just to clear it.
It's too late anyway. I have control of the Unfathomable, and their armies will sweep across the
Or
land.
does the Unfathomable control you?
I don't know. We've got an arrangement going on. Look, what's important is that I have won and you have lost.
That is not true at all.
Look, and she like yells to your army behind you.
Look, he's gonna turn you into that. Can't you tell?
Skull just sounding like.
Do you want to become part of his unfathomable horrors that will stretch across the land? If not,
Then stand with me and my dragons. Prepare to face dragon fire.
They have no choice. Your dragon fire is weak. They have been nurtured on love, the
Excuse
weakest
me,
and
you are
most
clearly
useless
dark
of
type.
emotions.
And I am clearly dragon type and fire type. I don't think we're weak to you. We have fairy attacks here.
Yes, but I have dragon and dark, the edgiest of all the Pokemon, and thus I will
but
be
we're
able.
very
Look,
clearly
armies, just kill her. Don't listen to this artist rebellion. rebellion nonsense.
I think that it throws some like fairy dust at you. And then the dragons rain down upon you with dragon fire.
Oh god, I guess the question is, what does dragon fire do to the unfathomable?
Perhaps it is the only thing that can truly destroy it.
Ow!
So is that the question? Is that our next
Are we
question?
all okay with that, or do we think that do we end
I'm
up in
bored.
a worse place or a better place?
We have 4 questions have been answered now. Do we move to the next phase, which is, I think, the aftermath, right?
We can do, if people want to explore more of the fall, if they've got questions, I think there's a couple of things
I
I
think
want
we
to
just decide in this moment, like, and then I feel like a lot of it's just what does it look like afterwards? Like, what society is built afterwards? Because I feel like, does the dragon fire destroy the unfathomable, or does it not? I think that's the question.
So the question is, what happens to the unfathomable? Oh.
I
What
think
does-
that, like, the dragon fire does destroy Gnarls at least.
Gnarls is dead.
Yeah.
So the question is,
then-
what does dragonfire do to the unfathomable? And I think it's the same scene, or the same people.
Yeah,
in that
I
scene,
think we're just
which is Anne plus Gnarls plus the unfathomable pet, aka Skull.
Okay.
Having a bad time.
I'm imagining Skull, like, it's a full-on attack right
This
now,
is our
right?
yes and moment. Like, what do we decide as a group?
So,
Okay, with the dragon fire destroying it, I feel like that.
yeah. Yeah,
That's why
Skull
the Phantom would want it.
is beginning to burn. He's like, Master, why? And then, like, spreads the darkness throughout more of the army.
Everyone, destroy the dragons and absorb them into this crystal. Also, put out this goddamn fire, it hurts.
The dragons. I think. Do the dragons win? I mean, that really is what it comes down to.
Do the
Right.
unfathomable win, or do the dragons win?
I think it's that, like, the dragons, just by the fact that they're like adult dragons now, like, they're resistant to the crystal effect. Like, it's the, like, he
Oh,
tries to
yeah.
use the, like,
There's-
he like shields against the fire for a bit using like the power, but then he starts to weaken because the crystal gets weak. So then he tries to, like, eat the dragons with the crystal, and it just doesn't work.
Like, we just see
Yes.
the last. It's that final scene with Anne on top of one of the dragons, like, and it descends upon Gnarls and then just eats him.
Like the biggest one. He's
I
like,
feel
why
like-
isn't it working?
I feel like, yes. And there needs to be a change in the dragons before they suddenly, like, twig that this dragon fire is definitely the thing that is needed to destroy the unfathomable thing.
I like this idea. I don't know if you guys are down with this. So that all happens, and the dragon eats Gnarls, and Gnarls is still holding the crystal. And because the dragon eats the crystal, something happens to that dragon. And we just see, like, the end scene where everything's happy, right? But there's, like, this glint of
Oh, no.
black in its eyes.
Oh, it gets a cutie mark.
Yeah.
I was also kind of thinking that, I mean, just in the process of this battle, like, the entire city is clearly destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
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 Okay.
Gnarls is eaten.
That brings us to our denouement.
Well, something different happens in this particular segment, the aftermath phase. We have a few brief glimpses at what life after the fall of this horrendous love-sapping regime is over. What ways is it better? What ways is it worse? And who is better off or worse off? It doesn't explore what happens next, but is a snapshot of the lives of characters that we've already seen and places that we've already visited. And we kind of see it as the final wrap up of this weird little story that we've been telling. So, for I didn't actually look over this. We look at living avatars.
It's an important distinction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Starting with the player who went second in the fall phase. I have no idea who that was.
Oh,
That was all of us.
That's who cares about that structure?
It's
Like,
whoever wants to start first. We take it in turns. To choose
So it's
one
living
question.
avatars. What about the immediate post-fall world is harder?
Yeah, we
scarier?
can choose one of those 4 questions to answer about the world.
Well, I can start with Anne. Anne Lanthropist and Thranthropist. I don't even fully remember her last name. The small fairy who really just wanted to be an artist, and somehow when her husband was taken away by the authorities, became a rebel leader with an army of dragons. And I think I'm gonna go with how do you take advantage, or what in the immediate post-fall world is harder, scarier, or more difficult? And I think that the sort of tragedy of Anne's life is that she doesn't get to be an artist now because she is placed in this position of authority as the leader of the rebellion. And so all of her grief and all of her tragedy is wrapped up in now attempting to create a world that was better, while not trying to fall into the pitfalls of what happened before. But that's never what she wanted to actually do.
So
we kind of see her like in moments, like reading monologues to herself quietly, like in her office. Like her books she has collections of like theatrical works and things like that, but she's constantly being pulled away from her true desires.
And I think that
what happened to Poe?
I like, because this whole big Titanic battle happens, but who knows who was in the wrong and who was in the right until someone comes along to set the record straight.
So how do you take advantage of things you can do now, which you couldn't do before? Like Poe actually being able to talk to people? Being in a scene? That counts.
is Poe alive?
Sure, why not? If you want him to be.
Okay.
Okay, so
So maybe Poe
yeah,
is like in
then-
a jail cell or something like that, and they let him out. And then he tells his story about what he
This whole
saw.
thing is actually just Poe telling a story. It's
Yeah.
a flashback.
And Poe tells the story of
There I was.
what happened and how they quieted him. Poor Poe.
Like after finding the entity,
Yeah.
like you were nicely taken in by Skull, and he's like, I'll look after you and I'll sort this problem and take you seriously, and then locks you up and turns out to be in league with it and makes this whole agreement
But-
and becomes
but he
emperor
did-
as a result.
I like to imagine that Skull came back to Poe and would like ask him questions and stuff like that.
Resident expert on the artifacts.
Yeah. Because he was an archaeologist, so he like knows all these like interesting weird bits and
Yep.
pieces. So even though Poe was not on that side, he might have helped. Didn't know that he was, you know.
That's how the truth comes out, and we
Poe's
know
like
who was right
on the
and who
jail
was
cell.
wrong.
He's like,
They've kept me here forever. Let me out.
he's just a little goblin.
Who's still alive?
He's still alive. I don't know.
Who is? Like, who's still alive in our...
Oh, okay.
I mean, I guess my bureaucrat and my art policeman might still be chilling.
I think
Yeah,
everybody
what's your
except for
bureaucrat doing?
except for my granny is probably still alive.
My bureaucrat's probably having a bad time. He's like, my entire purpose and existence is irrelevant now. All art is valid. Damn it! Now what am I supposed to do?
I think on the front of how do you take advantage of things you can do now, which you couldn't do before. I think that Yarf can actually help people. Like his job before was like he wasn't very helpful. He thought he was being, but now he's actually helping people like gather their things and get their lives back together.
Okay. Well, for me, I think I either want to do Gormin or Phil, but Phil's dead, so.
Well, two of the questions are for dead avatars.
There are, yeah. So for Phil, I am going to answer the question: what would have made you happy about the new world had you survived to see it? And I think we see the ghost of Phil, the fairy.
Looking down upon Anne.
Well, definitely haunting Anne, but also
I know you're there.
shush, I'm watching a film. Yeah, just seeing a crew of filmmakers pointing a camera at the sky, and then we look up and we see dragons in formation doing cartwheels and blowing fire and doing beautiful things in the sky. And everyone looks happy as they're doing their wonderful artistic work.
And like you see next to you eating popcorn, Granny, and she's
Like
watching her
Force Ghost
son.
style.
She's watching her son on one of the dragons riding into the sky.
Well, no, he died.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Niles died. He's also there as a ghost, basically the same as Phil, and in that he's.
But in her
happy.
vision,
No, yeah,
He's
in her
still
vision,
alive.
He's on the dragon.
yeah, and he's on the dragon.
Oh. And he's still a kid. Yeah, Niles is or Barnabas Niles' view is the same of like he's happy that the dragons are free and that his work wasn't for nothing.
Yeah. I think Barf, much like Yarf, I think Barf retires from his life as a soldier and becomes more like a community service oriented. Goes become a teacher.
I think the how I'm going to go back to a previous question, which was how do you take advantage of things you could do now or you can do now versus what you couldn't do before? And I think Lady Argle the Vargle ascends on the city with her turtle army.
Oh, she takes over?
Yeah.
Oh, rude.
Anne is not gonna put up with that shit. She's like, I fought one more with dragons. I will fight another one.
Dragons versus giant turtles.
Yes.
Then it's a kaiju film.
Same genre.
I mean, we have to keep it up for a sequel, right?
Yeah, Jenkins disappears in the middle of the fight. I'm not sure we know exactly where she ends up. She's very self-preservation focused. So I think as a living avatar, what about the immediate post-fall world is harder, scarier, more difficult? She no longer has power or authority. And I think she has to go find someone or somewhere.
I think she might meet up with Tori. Tori's the
Yeah.
little creepy fairy also just disappears. She's probably been involved in a lot of interrogations.
Yep.
Being a good fairy.
Maybe they take their services to the Bargles.
Ooh.
The Argles.
The Argles, because the Bargles are the
Bargles.
ones coming to the city, right?
Yeah.
And then it'll be the battle of the Argle Bargle.
Yep.
Well,
All of my characters.
I think unless there's anything else someone wants to help wrap this story up with, we have come to a satisfying yet weird conclusion
Yeah.
to our beautiful little story. And I want to see fan art of basically all of this.
Yeah, same.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fairies riding dragons, all of that.
Yeah.
Are these just really big fairies or really small dragons? Or just disproportionate
They're,
dragon
they're
riding?
vulnerable tiny dragons.
That's true.
So
But that was because they weren't allowed to become awesome giant badass dragons.
It's true. It's true.
Now they are. Now they're free.
Yeah, now they're not getting harvested when
No,
they're
not
like
vulnerable,
little
and
teenage
they're probably not
babies.
tiny. Yeah.
no longer vulnerable. Okay. Well, thank you everyone.
Like some officially sanctioned fan art.
Is fan art
When did you
approved
know?
art?
None of the dragons can be flying.
All of them.
You have to do it in that Soviet style, chunky style of art.
Yeah, as in, like, all the art is just people with dragons on the ground next to them, staring at the horizon, determined.
Yeah.
People and dragons together.
All right. Well, that means we're going to wrap this story up a little shorter because prolonging it would make it maybe more weird and maybe not a good way. So thank you all for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We hope that you enjoyed it. And of course, if you did, be sure to subscribe to us here on Twitch. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube, as well as, subscribing to us on Patreon, because that is how we pay all of our wonderful cast. And we're able to put on such great shows. We will be back next week on Sunday with Shadow of Duskfall. So if you are interested in more dystopia in your life, but a prolonged story, definitely tune into that. Send Enter Elysium love, as he wasn't feeling well, so we tried to put something together really quick. Thank you, Josh, for putting together this little shindig for us. It was really fun. And of course to Lauren and Bentham for being great improvers, and just going with the flow of chaos today. So we're gonna go around and let everyone say where you can find them at and all of that jazz, and I'm going to look and see if we had any donations, because we read those off, or you can get them in while people are chatting. And I just wanted to say another thank you to Jofu for supporting this episode. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it, Jofu. You're awesome. Thank you so much. I know it was a Shadow of Duskfall, but hopefully you still enjoyed it. And then, of course, we still have merch up. So designedbyhumans.com/roll for it. You can check out all of our merch. We are going to have a Shadow of Duskfall and Silence of Shadows shirt design and whatnot coming soon. So stay tuned for that. We do have our holiday break coming up. That will be from December 21st to January 1st. So our last episode will be on the 15th, and which will be next week already. What is happening?
Only one more week of shows,
What?
and then it's Christmas.
Oh my god, that's crazy. And then on the 4th, we'll be returning back with Sounds of Shadows and Shadow of Duskfall. So stay tuned with us. I think that's... Oh, next week is going to be something different on Saturday. You'll definitely want to tune in. Schedule it in your calendar. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be on Saturday, the 14th of December. Same time as per usual, 10 a.m. PDT, 6 p.m. PST. Or the other way around. No, that's right. Right? 10 a.m. PST, 6 p.m. GMT. There you go. I think I swapped it.
GMT now, right?
Yeah, you guys are GMT now.
Yeah, we're in GMT.
So you want to watch that. It's going to be great. Okay. So we'll start off with Josh. Gaming FTL, when you're not playing us a whole slew of other characters, what are you up to?
Yeah, you can find me on Strange Adventures if you want to catch up on role-playing stuff and vampire stuff, which I am very excited about at the moment. There's all sorts of amazing World of Darkness things that I will be covering over on YouTube on Strange Adventures, or if you want to see me do all sorts of silly video game things, that's Gaming FTL. Otherwise, tomorrow evening I'm going to be hanging out on twitch.tv/GamingFTL. Just chill, play some video games, and talk about the nonsense that happened here tonight. Beautiful, beautiful chaos.
Cool. Moving on to Random Tuesday. Where can people find you? And perhaps maybe randomly on Tuesdays.
What? Hi, my name is Random Tuesday, and basically all of the places on the internet. I stream on my channel on Random Tuesday. I post a lot of pictures of cosplay and other things like that over on various social medias. I play RPGs on the Dungeons and Dragons channel, so just follow me on Twitter. I always post when I go live, and yeah, I don't really have any. Oh, I'm celebrating my 3 years of partnership this week on Tuesday randomly.
Congratulations.
I'm gonna bake mince pies because I literally cannot buy mince pies in this country, and I was like, I want mince pies.
That's the one thing we realized we didn't get the Americans to try as mince pies.
So I'm very excited to
Next time.
I don't know, maybe bake 6 mince pies in 4 hours, because that's about my ratio for cupcakes. So really,
Cupcakes don't take 4 hours to bake.
I was like, what if I bake 3 different kinds of cupcakes?
Okay.
And make like mini batches of all of them. And then I was distracted by chat, so it took me a really long time.
I will say that baking with chat, it does take a lot longer. So yes.
Took me a long time.
And now that you've said you make 3 different kinds, that makes sense.
Yeah. It was not quite so bad.
And of course, last but not least, we have our Bentam, aka Mangled Pork. Where can people find you at, and what are you up to?
I have a YouTube channel called Megaport Gaming where I play games, funnily enough. Who would have guessed? They include 7 Days to Die recently. There was some Kenshi a little bit ago. Volcanoid has been going. I keep meaning to make Satisfactory videos, but not getting around to it. And also, on Tuesday, 6 p.m., I'm probably going to be streaming a really old game, because who needs to get with the times when you can play a game from 2010 that you only just learned about recently, and you're like, oh, this is quite neat, actually. Probably going to be multiplayer thing with EE. And we just randomly picked a game to play the day after RollFritCon. We were like, we're zombies, let's play something fairly mindless. And I'm like, oh, this is quite good, actually. So we're just going to do a stream of it, because why not? That's the idea. Out. Yeah, more videos, streams coming soon. That's me. Maggie, what about you?
I am Margaret Crone. You can find me at Margaret Crone in all of the places. Tomorrow, I will be putting out Vlogmas Vlog, which I'm basically, instead of doing a vlog every day, I'm capturing every day, and I'm putting out one video that will encapsulate the whole week, because I feel like that's going to be much easier for me. And then also tomorrow I will be, which is a Monday, I will be doing Warhammer Wrath and Glory. We're going to have another episode of that. So if you are interested in that, Unsung Furies every Monday, 7 p.m. PST, if you want to come check that out. And then, of course, we put it up on YouTube if you miss it. So that's kind of what I'm up to. And of course, if you're interested in what I do with my day job, I do make video games for a living. We are currently making Ashes of Creation, and you can check that out at Ashes of Creation. Cheesy. All right, I think that's it. We have no donations, so thank you so much for everybody who tuned in and for all the bits. We appreciate it. We will see you next week with some more madness as per usual. Thank you so much. We're going to go record an after show, and we're going to see how everyone feels about things and stuff. Be great. Bye.